Chapter 2056. Black Crow City's army also began to participate in the battle. They wanted to wipe out the entire Sea Race tribe from the mystic world, because they had experienced the pain of losing their loved ones and comrades. When they were in despair, these people had never sympathized with them. So why should they sympathize with them? The slaughter lasted for an hour before it finally ended. Looking at the corpses everywhere, Ling Xiao indifferently gave the order to clean up the battlefield. There were many good things in the Sea Race tribe, and these good things were all brought out by the tribesmen, because they originally planned to flee. Now, everything had become the Celestial Empire's. Return to the city. After the search was complete, Ling Xiao withdrew his soul force and demonic qi, and the demonic corpse army immediately collapsed. Even he couldn't control this demon corpse army for a long time. After all, the consumption was too great. Let these demon corpses be buried in the deep sea. The army turned back and left the deep sea. Ling Xiao removed the black tortoise orb's effect, and the sea immediately filled up. The million corpses became a delicacy for the sea beasts. After returning to Black Crow City, Ling Xiao didn't stay for long. After catching up with Shan Guanhong, Ling Sha, and the others, the disposal of the corpses began. Naturally, Ling Xiao didn't need to worry about these things. Shan Guanhong would take care of it. He only buried Meng Tong and Xian with his own hands, and set up a hero's cemetery in Black Crow City. In the cemetery, a huge tombstone was erected with the words, "The heroes of the Celestial Empire are immortal," written on it. It was impossible for this place to bury the hundreds of thousands of soldiers who had died in battle. However, this tombstone was erected for all of them. My good brothers, just watch from here. Watch me take revenge for all of you. After destroying the Celestial Sea Empire and the Silver Fox Empire, I will come back to pay respects to you. Looking at Meng Tong and Xian's tombstones, Ling Xiao took a deep breath, then turned and left. He didn't return to Divine Phoenix City, but wrote a letter and handed it to Shan Guanhong, who then passed it to Wu Xiang. The content of the letter was actually very simple. He wanted to go to the Celestial Sea Empire and kill the Celestial Sea Sovereign King. He ordered Wu Xiang to immediately reorganize the country's military forces, mobilize the army, and build ships to prepare for war against the Tianhai Empire. And the signal was the Tianhai Sovereign King's death. Ling Xiao wasn't worried about the spread of the news. The Celestial Empire did have some spies in the Tianhai Empire. Once the Tianhai Sovereign King died in battle, this news would quickly reach Wu Xiang's ears. When Wu Xiang received the letter, Ling Xiao had already arrived at the Celestial Empire. As for Fan Ruohai, he parted ways with Ling Xiao and went to search for the remnants of the Fan family. He also wanted to use this war against the Tianhai Empire to conquer his own forces. The Fan clan had already decided to rely on the Tianhai Empire. In a certain restaurant in the Tianhai Empire, two people with gloomy auras were drinking there. Vice Sect Leader Qin, how is it? Did you catch that guy's aura? The person who asked the question was a middle-aged man dressed in black. The other person was dressed in a purple robe. Vice Sect Leader Qin sneered, "You're asking nonsense. With my strength, as long as there's wind within a radius of several hundred miles, he won't be able to escape my pursuit." "You're really something, Vice Sect Leader Qin," the middle-aged man said with a chuckle. "Your black wind martial soul is much stronger than some people." The middle-aged man in black said with a smile. He naturally believed that Vice Sect Leader Qin would not lie. After all, this man was in the 18th stage of life seizing. If he couldn't even catch the aura of a trifling Ling Xiao, then he would be a complete piece of trash. Humph! Puny Ling Xiao might have made a name for himself during the White Tiger Store meet, but he's only just reached the life-seizing level. Logically speaking, as a devil general, you shouldn't be afraid of him. You actually want me to personally help you? Vice Sect Leader Qin snorted coldly, clearly disdainful. Of course, he had no idea that Ling Xiao had defeated Tianhai Nua, nor that Ling Xiao had killed Overseer Rubik's Cube. As for the terrifying slaughter that had taken place on the Dragon Phoenix continent, he naturally had no idea. If he did, he wouldn't have looked down on Ling Xiao. Vice Sect Leader Qin, the black-robed man, said with a smile, "I'm just trying to be safe. That brat is too crafty. With you personally involved, we'll have a better chance of success." That makes sense. Ever since he left the Nine Heavens Palace, the brat has been acting all mysterious. The Pontifex even ordered us to kill him. General Shadow Devil, if you can kill him, you'll have done a great service to the Pontifex. Vice Sect Leader Qin said coolly. "You're wrong, Vice Sect Leader Qin," Shadow Devil said. "You're the one doing a great service. As long as I can get that brat's martial soul, I'll be happy." "Very well," Shadow Devil said. "All right, let's head out. That guy has shown up." Vice Sect Leader Qin rose to his feet, eyes glittering. "All right." Without even paying, the two of them left the restaurant and headed off in a certain direction. Up in the sky, a sea of clouds churned. A figure could be seen flying through the sea of clouds. Perhaps it was because he was moving so quickly that the ripples in the sea of clouds were torn apart. Of course, it was none other than Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's plan was simple. He wanted to single-handedly slaughter the imperial family of the Heaven Sea Empire. Once he killed the rebirth realm experts of the Heaven Sea Empire, the army of the Heaven Sea Empire would be able to invade. Right now, his cultivation base was in the 16th stage of the life-seizing level. But if he went all out and unleashed the 7 Heaven Devil Kings sealed in his forehead, it would be very likely that he would be able to kill the rebirth realm experts. The only way to subjugate the Heaven Devil Kings was through battle. Ling Xiao wanted to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. On the one hand, he wanted to use the power of the Heaven Devil Kings to kill the king of the Heaven Sea Empire. On the other hand, he wanted to use the power of the king of the Heaven Sea Empire to subjugate the Heaven Devil Kings. It would be a waste to leave the power of the Heaven Devil sealed in his forehead. Although Ling Xiao was a cautious person, he wasn't lacking in the desire to take risks. That was especially true now that his cultivation base had reached such a level that it was difficult to advance any further. He really did need a battle that could truly threaten his life. Perhaps in a battle of life and death, he would be able to gain more enlightenment and soar to the heavens. Vice Sect Leader Qin and the Yin Devil General were about 5 kilometers behind Ling Xiao, but they seemed to be having a hard time. Damn it, how can this guy be so fast? And his internal energy is so abundant. Is he really only in the 18th stage of the Yin-Yang realm? The Yin Devil General cursed. He and Vice Sect Leader Qin had to rely on the power of their magical treasures to just barely keep up with Ling Xiao. But now they were 5 kilometers away from him, and they were in despair. This kid definitely has some sort of treasure on him. Otherwise, he wouldn't dare come to the Heaven Sea Empire alone. After all, the Heaven Sea Empire has a deep grudge with him. Chapter 2057. Deputy Sect Master Chen gritted his teeth and said, "We must kill this kid before the Tianhai Empire takes action. Otherwise, all the good things will be taken away by the people of the Tianhai Empire." At this moment, Ling Xiao suddenly stopped and landed on the ground. Damn it, he finally stopped. Seeing this, the Yin Demon General finally breathed a sigh of relief. Siwatch City was the city closest to the coastline of the Tianhai Empire. If the Tianhai Empire wanted to attack the Tianhai Empire, Siwatch City was the only way. It was also a tough bone to chew. The reason why Ling Xiao chose to land here was simply to take down this city and lay the foundation for the army of the Tianhai Empire. Although the army had not arrived, the vanguard of the Tianhai Empire had already moved. They followed behind Ling Xiao and were responsible for assisting Ling Xiao to complete some things. The vanguard only had a total of 1,000 people. Such a number could be directly divided into parts. Even if they arrived at the Tianhai Empire, they could easily avoid the eyes and ears of the Tianhai Empire. The leader of the 1,000 people was Xie Li. Xie Li was currently one of the most powerful people in the Tianhai Empire. With her assisting Ling Xiao, Wu Xiang would be more at ease. The most famous restaurant in Siwatch City was Siwatch Restaurant, which was named after the city. It belonged to the Lord of Siwatch City. The business of the restaurant was very prosperous. Basically, all the famous people in Siwatch City liked to come here to drink wine, listen to music, and have fun. Isn't this Guard Cheen? Why are you free to come to the restaurant today? The waiter saw a guest coming in with a few people and hurriedly stepped forward. Guard Cheen was one of the guards of the Lord of Siwatch City. He was very powerful and could be considered an absolute tyrant in Siwatch City. Is there a private room upstairs? Guard Cheen glanced at the waiter and asked. Yes, of course. The waiter called out, and someone immediately led Bodyguard Cheen to the second floor. Oh, so you're here? Do you want a meal or a room? The waiter turned around and saw a young man of 17 or 18 years old at the door. It was Ling Xiao. Eat something. Ling Xiao replied, Sit inside. The waiter asked Ling Xiao to sit in the lobby on the first floor. Immediately, another waiter came to serve him. However, the moment Ling Xiao sat down, he suddenly frowned. Not good. How could these two fellows be so bold as to cause trouble in the city? Ling Xiao knew that someone was following him, but he did not expect that the person who was following him would actually launch an attack here. Boom! A huge, venomous snake broke through the wall of the restaurant and slithered in. This venomous snake was completely condensed from wood attribute essence energy, and it was filled with a terrifying aura. Just by opening his mouth, a thick green poisonous mist flew out and filled the entire hall. In an instant, many people fell to the ground, foaming at the mouth. This was still considered light. Some people's bodies were directly corroded by the terrifying poisonous fog, becoming unbearably rancid. What a fierce poison attack! Ling Xiao glanced coldly at the enormous snake, and then he waved his hand, causing a strand of sword qi to tear through the sky. That venomous snake was instantly smashed into pieces. However, things did not end like this. The smashed, venomous snake reformed a moment later. It was originally condensed from essence energy. As long as its owner had enough inner energy, it could continuously revive. The snake spat out its huge tongue and attacked Ling Xiao, attempting to kill Ling Xiao on the spot. Insignificant skill. Ling Xiao stood up and punched out. Crimson red flames burned in the air. That huge elemental energy viper was quickly burned to a crisp by the flames, and the green poisonous gas in the restaurant also became much fainter. Ling Xiao knew that he would not be able to eat today, so he simply walked out of the door. However, at this moment, the entire restaurant suddenly shook, as if it was wrapped by something. Ling Xiao opened his Tai Chi eye and saw a giant elemental energy spider standing on top of the restaurant. The giant spider web wrapped the entire restaurant, and it was pulling it into its mouth. This stalker was truly ruthless. In order to kill Ling Xiao, he actually wanted to bury the entire restaurant with him. Bastard, who dares to behave atrociously in Lakeview City? A loud shout came from the second floor, and then a terrifying saber chi exploded in all directions. The elemental energy spider at the top of the restaurant was instantly killed. Is it that Guard Cheen? Ling Xiao raised his head to take a look and discovered that Bodyguard Cheen was holding a long saber that was about 3 feet long. He was glaring angrily at the entrance of the restaurant. However, at this moment, the streets near the restaurant were filled with poisonous miasma. Without special eyes, it was impossible to see anything. The enormous elemental energy spider was killed, but even more venomous snakes and spiders pounced in. At this moment, a large number of people in the restaurant had already been killed by the poisonous miasma or fainted. Only Ling Xiao and Guard Cheen were still conscious. Boom! Finally, the 2-story wooden restaurant could no longer withstand the constant elemental energy attacks and completely collapsed. No one. Ling Xiao opened his Tai Chi eye and looked into the distance. The entire Lakeview City was filled with poisonous miasma. There was no trace of the culprit. Instead, he clearly saw 2 figures outside the city. Both of them were unfamiliar, but Ling Xiao was very familiar with the logo on their clothes. Heavenly Fiend Cult. These two guys were from the Heavenly Fiend Cult. It seemed like the Heavenly Fiend Cult had sent out very powerful experts to kill him, even at all costs. In order to kill him, they were willing to bury the entire Lake View City with him. Guard Qin charged towards the city, Lord Manor. It seemed like he was going to save the city, Lord of Lake View City. Ling Xiao hesitated for a moment before following. His goal in coming to Lake View City was very clear. It was to assassinate the city lord of Lake View City and create conditions for the Heavenly Empire to attack the Tianhai Empire. However, because he wasn't sure what was going on in the city lord manor, he planned to investigate it later that night. Who would have thought that these two Heavenly Fiend cult members would end up doing him a favor? With such a large amount of poisonous miasma, the city lord manor's defenses would be at their lowest. This was his chance. Just as he had guessed, the city lord manor was currently covered in poisonous miasma. Whether it was the guards at the gate or the soldiers patrolling the grounds, they had all been killed by the deadly poison. Only the life seizers were still alive in the city lord manor. The rest of the people had either turned into rotting corpses or corroded into white bones. If the city lord manor was in such a state, there was no need to even mention the streets. Few life seizers under the life sizer level could survive in the miasma. Oh, Heavenly Fiend Cult. They killed one of their own just for him. That was truly outrageous. Even if he was filled with hatred, he wouldn't do such a thing. City Lord, let's retreat. The miasma is everywhere. We've been ambushed. Chapter 2058. The city magistrate was a life-sizer for the Heaven-Sea Empire and was in the 17th stage of the life-seizing level, very close to the rebirth level. That was why he was fine. And yet his wife and children had all died in the miasma, which infuriated him to the point of madness. Who did it? The city magistrate asked coldly. I'm not sure, but I suspect it's the Heaven-Sea Empire's revenge. The city magistrate chuckled. The Heaven-Sea Empire. Ling Xiao, I'm going to kill you. The city magistrate roared. His wife and children had all died, so how could he not be angry? You can kill me, Yang Qi said. I was going to kill you anyway, but I need to correct you. This miasma has nothing to do with me. Ling Xiao's voice rang out from within the mist, and he appeared in front of the city magistrate and guard Qin. Ling Xiao. How could they not recognize this person? They hadn't missed the live broadcast of the White Tiger storm meet back then. They had watched it all clearly. Therefore, they recognized Ling Xiao's face. That's right, it's me. Ling Xiao said coolly. You bastard. I can't believe you killed all the commoners in the city just to kill me. The city magistrate glared at Ling Xiao, clearly on the verge of attacking him. City magistrate, Guard Qin said, we need to get out of here. If we don't, we'll be in big trouble. Although the two of them hadn't been killed by the miasma, yet they were running out of vital energy and would eventually be killed. You don't need to go anywhere, Guard Qin said. I'm here to kill you. As for whether you believe me or not, that's up to you. Ling Xiao said coolly. He didn't need them to believe him, nor did he care if they hated him. Let's go. Guard Qin said, shoving the city magistrate aside. Then he blocked Ling Xiao's path. City magistrate, hurry up and leave. I'll hold him back. The city magistrate hesitated for a moment, looking at the skeletons of his wife and children. He gritted his teeth and turned to leave. Ling Xiao frowned and was about to give chase. He didn't care if Guard Qin died or not. What he wanted to do now was to kill the city lord of Lake View City so that Lake View City would be leaderless. Greetings, Your Majesty. However, just as he was about to leave, bodyguard Qin suddenly knelt down. Ling Xiao was stunned for a moment. He didn't understand what was going on. Your Majesty, I am one of the Vice Sect Masters of Dragon Phoenix Mountain. I have already pledged allegiance to the Heavenly Dynasty Empire and have been sent to spy beside the city, Lord of Lake View City. Protector Qin explained. Ling Xiao's taiji spun, confirming that this person was not lying. "What's your name?" Ling Xiao asked. "Qin Mu." The man replied, "Why did you let the lakeside city lord go?" Ling Xiao asked in confusion. "This general has been undercover here for a very long time and has discovered that the city lord of Lake Gazing City is not on good terms with the Tianhai clan. The Tianhai clan has been trying to kill him, but with his outstanding military achievements, they can't find a reason to do so. Thus, this general believes that this person can be roped in. He has a powerful navy under him with more than 300,000 people. If we can take him down, our Heavenly Dynasty Empire will be able to land without losing a single soldier." Qin Mu replied, "Oh no." Ling Xiao was about to speak when he suddenly saw a group of people outside Lakeview City. Among these people, there was one that he would recognize even if he turned into ashes. This person was Tianhai Tyranny, who had left with the Black Snake Devil sect. After nearly a month of cultivation, Tianhai Tyranny was no longer the same as before. Even Ling Xiao was surprised by his terrifying strength. This subordinate greets the cult master. There was a woman beside Tianhai Tyranny. She wore a red veil, obscuring her appearance. However, the two members of the Heavenly Devil cult both addressed her as the cult master. Ling Xiao couldn't help but be surprised. He thought that Tianhai Tyranny was the true cult master of the Heavenly Devil cult. He was the one who had single-handedly created the Heavenly Devil cult on the White Tiger continent. He didn't expect the cult master to be such a woman. However, it seemed that Tianhai Tyranny had a very close relationship with this woman. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that he was the mastermind behind the Heavenly Devil cult. "Rise. Is Ling Xiao already trapped inside?" The cult master asked indifferently. Reporting to the cult master, "We've been waiting near Lake View City for a whole month. We've put in a lot of effort and laid down the 5-poison absolute killing formation. Once the formation is activated, even if Ling Xiao doesn't die, he won't be able to escape." Vice Cult Master Chin reported. Actually, he and the Yin Demon General didn't feel very comfortable. They had originally wanted to kill Ling Xiao and earn a great merit, but now that the cult master had come, they probably wouldn't be able to receive any merit. "Where's Lake View City, Lord Qinjian?" Tianhai Tyranny asked. "I forgot to introduce you. This is His Highness the Crown Prince of the Tianhai Empire, the supporter behind the scenes of our Heavenly Devil cult. Seeing him is like seeing him is like seeing him," the cult master said indifferently. At this moment, Vice Cult Master Chen hurriedly said, "Qinjian was rescued and is currently escaping." "Very good. This Qinjian has always been dissatisfied with the Tianhai Imperials. Today, I'll personally send him to hell." Tianhai Tyranny wanted to show off the results of his cultivation over the past month. Qinjian was at life-seizing level 17, while he was at life-seizing level 15. The situation doesn't look good. This is the 5-poison absolute killing formation. Even if it can't kill us, getting out won't be easy. Ling Xiao furrowed his brows. "Qin Mu, immediately chase after Qinjian. I'm afraid that Heavenly Sea's tyranny will harm Qinjian. If you're with Qinjian, he'll definitely let you guys go. I'll think of a way to break this formation and meet up with you guys." "Understood." Qin Mu didn't hesitate. Qinjian should be leaving Lake View City soon. If he hesitated, there wouldn't be enough time. "I'll send you off." Ling Xiao waved his hand and blasted Qin Mu behind him. Qin Mu borrowed the wind to instantly close the distance between him and Qinjian. The two met up 10 minutes later. Qinjian didn't ask how Qin Mu had escaped from Ling Xiao. Once they left, everything would be clear. But once they were outside, Qinjian realized that he didn't even have time to speak. He and Qin Mu were surrounded by a group of people. Tianhai Tyranny stood there and looked at him coldly. "How does the poisonous miasma feel?" Tianhai Tyranny sneered. "You did it. Lake View City's 200,000 citizens are all citizens of the Tianhai Empire. Why did you do it?" Qin Zhan couldn't believe his ears. He had always hoped that Ling Xiao had done it. That way, he would have enough reason to take revenge without any psychological burden. But reality was too cruel. The one who had killed Lakeview City's 200,000 citizens was none other than his own crown prince. Why? Do you really not understand? Chapter 2059. Heavenly Ocean Tyranny sneered. Sea-Watch City's commoners only have you, Qin Zhan, in their eyes. They don't care about the royal family, so their deaths are nothing to be regretted. Also, don't tell me you've forgotten how my brother died. Your Highness, the second prince ran amok in Lakeview City. Not only did he harm the commoners, he also sullied my daughter. Am I wrong to kill him? Qin Zhan roared. You're not wrong, but you still have to pay the price because I'm stronger than you. Heavenly Ocean Tyranny looked coldly at Qin Zhan. The war between the Heavenly Empire and the Heavenly Empire is about to break out. You have a lot of troops in your hands. How can we be at ease? If you collude with Ling Xiao, wouldn't our Heavenly Ocean Empire's door be wide open? Just because of these baseless guesses, you want to kill me and destroy Lakeview City? Qin Zhan's eyes became incomparably cold. No, no, no. The people outside will only know that it was Ling Xiao who killed you and destroyed Lakeview City. Your 300,000 troops will only risk their lives to take revenge for you. Ha ha ha! Do you think you have a lot of value? Heavenly Ocean Tyranny looked mockingly at Qin Zhan. All lands under the heavens belong to the royal family. Your daughter is also part of the royal family. My second brother only slept with her. How big of a deal is that? You actually dare to kill him. If we weren't afraid of you rebelling, the royal family wouldn't have endured until now. The royal family had been heartless since ancient times. How could they tolerate others killing their own people, even if their own brother was unpardonably evil? Even if he ruined someone else's daughter, that person should endure it and not have any thoughts of resistance. Otherwise, it would anger them. What's more, Qin Zhan had directly killed Heavenly Ocean Tyranny's brother. To these heartless royal families, this was a heinous crime that couldn't be punished. How could Qin Zhan not die? This time, Heavenly Ocean Tyranny not only wanted Qin Zhan to die, but also wanted to shift the blame onto Ling Xiao. This way, Qin Zhan's 300,000 troops would pledge their lives to resist the Heavenly Empire's navy for the royal family. Ha 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 ha! Qin Zhan suddenly raised his head and laughed. What are you laughing at? Heavenly Ocean Tyranny asked. I'm laughing because I'm such an idiot. Back then, when someone told me to betray the Tianhai Empire, I said something about believing in the Emperor and being unswerving loyal to the Empire. I even killed the person who dared to instigate me. Today, I finally know how stupid I was. I never thought that I would be so loyal, but my daughter would have to suffer such misfortune. In the end, she would be treated as a rebel. I, Qin Zhan, am the stupidest idiot in the world. Qin Zhan roared. It's too late now. You can only blame yourself for not learning how to be an obedient dog. You can only blame your contributions for being so great that the Emperor feels threatened. Tyranny Heavenly Seas said indifferently, Okay, I've said enough nonsense. You can hand over your life now. Give up my life? If you have the ability, then come and take it. I, Qin Zhan, will definitely not give in so easily. Qin Zhan stared coldly at Tyranny Heavenly Seas. It was the imperial family that he had pledged his loyalty to. Not only had they destroyed his daughter's lifelong happiness, but they had also just killed hundreds of his family members with poisonous miasma. It made Qin Zhan a complete loner. He had trusted the wrong person. Originally, he didn't care if he died, but now he didn't want to die. He wanted revenge. What, you still want to resist? Tyranny Heavenly Seas sneered. Your Highness Crown Prince, this is the last time I'll call you Your Highness Crown Prince. It's really ironic. I've been busy preparing for the Heavenly Empire's invasion, so I've done a lot of things. I originally thought that these preparations would all be used to deal with the Heavenly Empire's army. Who would have thought that they would be used to deal with you, Your Highness Crown Prince? Qin Zhan shook his head and laughed bitterly. He raised his hand, and a signal flare flew through the air, exploding in the sky. Tyranny Heavenly Seas didn't have time to stop it. A short moment later, thousands of Sea-Watch City elites appeared nearby. City Lord, listen to my orders. Tyranny Heavenly Seas is the crown prince of the Heavenly Sea Empire, but he used poisonous miasma to harm the citizens of the city. His crime is unforgivable. My family of hundreds was slaughtered. Whoever is willing to follow me, Qin Zhan, and help me take revenge can stay. Those who aren't, you can choose. Qin Zhan said loudly, I'm willing to live and die with the city lord. Perhaps Tyranny Heavenly Seas was right about one thing. Qin Zhan's reputation in Sea-Watch City was very high. Not only did the citizens love and respect him, but the soldiers here were also willing to live and die with him, because he, Qin Zhan, treated the soldiers as his brothers and the citizens as his subjects. He wasn't like the royal family who treated the army as tools and the citizens as slaves. Good, Qin Zhan, you've revealed your wolf's ambition. It seems like this prince guessed right. Tyranny Heavenly Seas coldly looked at the thousands of elites, but his expression didn't change as he spoke coldly. Say what you want. Today, I'm really going to rebel. This is all because you forced me. Qin Zhan was already prepared to fight to the death. Even if he was killed in the end, he didn't want to die obediently. That would be too cowardly. It wasn't Qin Zhan's style at all. So what if I forced you? You're just a motley crew. Do you really think that you can do anything if you work together? Ridiculous. Tyranny Heavenly Seas said disdainfully. His cold voice made the faces of Qin Zhan and his thousands of elites turn ugly. They had worked hard to cultivate, killed countless enemies, and guarded the seas for the empire. They had never expected to be rewarded. But in the end, he had become a traitor without knowing what had happened. Who could endure such humiliation? You'll know soon enough whether or not we're just a motley crew. Qin Zhan said coldly and then waved his hand. Go. Don't hold back. These people are inhumane scum. There's no need to sympathize with them. Yes. Thousands of people responded in unison and then charged forward. Qin Zhan's subordinates were all elites. The weakest among them was at the 5th level of the Yin-Yang realm. The strongest was at the 18th level of the life-seizing realm, and was even stronger than him. When this group of people charged forward, their killing power was terrifying. However, Tyranny Heavenly Seas only waved his hand expressionlessly. Leave none alive. Behind him were hundreds of heavenly demon cult members. After hearing the order, they didn't dare hesitate and charged forward. However, the difference in numbers was too great. Surrounded by thousands of people, the hundreds of heavenly demon cult members were quickly wiped out. What a bunch of trash. Feeding you is a waste of food. Tyranny Heavenly Seas showed no sympathy for the deaths of the heavenly demon cult members. Instead, he coldly cursed and then waved his hand. Suddenly, hundreds of people shot out from the shadows. High-level demon crocodile guards. Qin Zhan frowned. These high-level demon crocodile guards were the true elites of the Tianhai imperial family. Every one of them was a life-sizer. They were much stronger than the thousands of people under Qin Zhan. Sect Leader Ling Xian, Vice Sect Leader Qin, Shadow Demon General, you three attack as well. Qin Zhan, Qin Mu, and that 1,000 subordinate Qin Luan, I'll leave them to you. Chapter 2060. Tyranny Heavenly Ocean could tell that among these thousands of players, only Qin Zhan, Qin Mu, and Qin Luan were a threat to them. Qin Zhan, level 17 life-seizing, Qin Mu, level 15 life-seizing, and level 18 life-seizing, Qin Luan. Thus, he sent out his strongest team. Ling Xian, Heavenly Demon Cult Leader, level 18 life-seizing. Vice Sect Master Qin, level 18 life-seizing. Shadow Devil General, level 15 life-seizing. In terms of overall strength, Tyranny Tianhai was clearly stronger. Dark clouds covered the sky. The city was plagued by poisonous miasma. Sea-Watch City should have been peaceful and happy, but today it was like the end of the world. Outside the city, a frenzied slaughter was taking place. Where's the sovereign? Didn't he come? Qin Zhan roared at Tyranny Tianhai after pushing Vice Sect Master Qin back. Against you, my father doesn't need to do anything. Even I don't need to do anything. If Qin Zhan couldn't even defeat Vice Sect Master Qin, then there was no need for him to do anything. Fine, then I'll kill him. Saying this, Qin Zhan's moves became even more ferocious. At the same time, his elite subordinates fought with their lives on the line. Although the demon crocodile guards were strong, there were too few of them, and they quickly fell into a disadvantage. One by one, they died. Qin Zhan sent Vice Sect Master Qin flying dozens of meters away. Qin Mu killed the Shadow Devil General with a single slash. The Shadow Devil General and Vice Sect Master Qin were both experts in poison formations, but their poison formations were now used against Ling Xiao. Naturally, they weren't strong enough. It was inevitable that they would be killed by Qin Zhan and Qin Mu. More importantly, they had too few people, and Qin Zhan's subordinates would sneak attack them. Vice Sect Master Qin was already lucky to be alive. Ling Xiao, I know you can see what's happening outside, but you can't change anything. This 5 poisons absolute death formation was carefully researched by the Black Snake sect. Vice Sect Master Qin and Vice Sect Master Qin are just the people who set it up. Do you really want Qin Zhan to work for you? Do you really want the 300,000 Navy soldiers under my command? It's a pity that this prince will kill them all in front of you today and you will be the scapegoat. Isn't that very exciting? Tyranny Heavenly Ocean's expression didn't change in the face of their own deaths. He only coldly looked in the direction of Ocean Gazing City and shouted, "Heavenly Ocean, Tyranny, you coward! You can't beat me, so you're using this method? But it's useless. I'll be out soon. You'd better wash your neck and wait for your death." Ling Xiao's voice came from Sea-Watch City. "City Lord Qin Zhan, you guys hold on. Give me another 10 minutes, and I will definitely break out of the formation." 10 minutes? They couldn't wait another 10 minutes. Everyone back down. Tyranny Heavenly Ocean coldly snorted and shouted at his subordinates. The demon crocodile guards quickly retreated. The heavenly demon cult martial artists also retreated at the same time. Qin Zhan and the others tried to give chase, but at that moment they seemed to see the water of the blue waves coming from the sky. A terrifying wave came crashing down from the sky. In just an instant, hundreds of people died on the spot. They were all elites, Yin-Yang realm and life-seizing realm elites. Qin Zhan, I really admire your courage. You actually dared to make an enemy out of my father, but he didn't kill you. Today I'll kill you. I'll make you understand that it's meaningless for you to place your hopes on that Ling Xiao. Did you really think that I was playing around in the mysterious snake demon sect for the past month? Tyranny Heavenly Ocean sneered. Then, the Devil Sky sword appeared in his hand. In the past, this Devil Sky sword was his absolute trump card, his trump card. Now, however, this sword had become a very common move. Severed Sea Blade. The moment Tyranny Heavenly Ocean summoned the Devil Sky sword, Qin Zhan also summoned his own weapon, the Severed Sea Blade. Behind him, the shadow of a saber appeared. This was his martial soul, the blade martial soul. It looked like a very ordinary martial soul, but he had cultivated it to an extremely powerful level. With the Severed Sea Blade in hand, he didn't fear Tyranny Heavenly Ocean. Today, I will avenge the deaths of hundreds of my family members. Qin Zhan exploded with a terrifying aura. The Severed Sea Blade in his hand glowed with a terrifying blue blade light. Submit to me and prosper, or oppose me and perish. Devil Sky Sword, kill. Tyranny Heavenly Ocean roared. The Devil Sky Sword in his hand appeared, and a terrifying sword energy instantly enveloped the entire space. Dense demonic intent. Sword energy filled the air. Qin Zhan, Qin Mu, and Qin Wan worked together to block. Their weapons collided with the terrifying sword energy, but they were all pushed back. They were extremely shocked. It seemed that Tyranny Heavenly Ocean was only at the 15th level of the life-seizing realm. But the power of this sword was something that the three of them couldn't block. Wasn't this too strong? Terrifyingly strong. We can't retreat. Behind us are our brothers. Qin roared. The terrifying blade light became even more resplendent as he took a step forward. Qin Mu and Qin Wan exploded with a terrifying aura at the same time as they stepped forward. Finally, the Devil Sky sword energy was completely shattered and disappeared into the void. Very good. Let's see how you're going to block this. Tyranny Heavenly Ocean's expression didn't change. The image of a crocodile god appeared behind him, and he released his terrifying martial soul. The Devil Sky sword in his hand trembled, and he stabbed out again. Wrath of the Crocodile God. The terrifying sword energy contained the wrath of the crocodile god martial soul. It was as if it wanted to tear the three in front of it to shreds, as well as kill Qin and his subordinates. However, Qin, Qin Mu, and Qin Wan, who were already in a frenzy, didn't retreat at all. The three of them worked together even more smoothly. After an intense collision, although the three of them were injured, they managed to block Tyranny Heavenly Ocean's brazen attack. Use whatever moves you have. I don't believe that a mere 15th level life-sizer like you can kill the three of us. Qin Wan roared. His weapon was a pair of hammers, and his martial soul was also a hammer martial soul. It was also simple, but it was also very powerful. Devil King domineering, unstoppable, unstoppable, kill, kill, kill. Tyranny Heavenly Ocean continued to roar, and a terrifying demonic aura emanated from his body. The Devil Sky sword in his hand moved faster and faster, and the terrifying sword energy stabbed out one after another, not giving Qin and the others any time to breathe. Tyranny Heavenly Ocean was already incomparably terrifying, and after joining the Black Snake Devil sect, he was treated as a core disciple. After a month of careful cultivation, his strength had increased greatly, which was why he couldn't wait to come back for revenge. Ling Xiao was his heart demon. If he wanted to go further on the path of martial arts, he had to kill Ling Xiao first. Only by destroying this heart demon could he go further. More and more wounds appeared on Qin, Qin Mu, and Qin Wan. At this time, no one else could help. Chapter 2061. Tyranny Heavenly Seas really is strong. Although they were opponents, Qin's subordinates had no choice but to admit that Tyranny Heavenly Seas was too strong. He was only in the 15th stage of the life-seizing realm, yet he was still able to suppress Qin, Qin Mu, and Qin Wan. After all, even Qin Mu was at the 15th stage of the life-seizing realm. What kind of terrifying person was he? More importantly, he hadn't even used his full strength yet. And yet, such a terrifying person was actually afraid of Ling Xiao? How could he have been defeated by Ling Xiao at the White Tiger Storm Gathering? Just how strong was Ling Xiao, the celestial emperor of the Heavenly Empire? How terrifying was he? If he could come out of the array, then today's crisis would definitely be resolved. At this moment, even the soldiers of Sea-Watch City felt somewhat ironic. At this critical moment, they actually had to hope that the celestial emperor of the Celestial Empire would come and save them. How ironic. See severing slash. Hammer annihilate the world. Rampaging dragon blade technique. Qin, Qin Wan, and Qin Mu grit their teeth and unleashed all of their techniques, not holding back all. They knew that if they held back, death would be the only result. All they had to do was stall for 10 minutes, and everything would be resolved. They had faith in Ling Xiao's strength. As long as Ling Xiao could escape from the 5 poisons absolute slaughter formation, then everything would be resolved. The combined attack of the three was incomparably powerful. Coupled with the fact that they were going all out, they were able to completely wipe out Tyranny Heavenly Seas' baleful aura. You're courting death. Tyranny Heavenly Seas snorted coldly. His body suddenly transformed into a demonic god that stood between heaven and earth, staring coldly at the three people in front of him. Devil King Tyrant Fist. He held a sword in his left hand and punched out with his right. The air was filled with the stench of blood and evil, baleful aura, causing anyone who smelled it to tremble in fear. A terrifying fist intent erupted, enveloping the three people in front of him. The three of them retreated, their faces filled with fear. At that moment, someone finally couldn't help but come to their rescue. However, the dozen or so Yin-Yang realm martial artists were killed by the fist intent. Not even a corpse was left behind. It was simply incomparably miserable, but Heavenly Tyranny didn't plan on showing any mercy. The Devil's Sky sword in his left hand suddenly stabbed out. Coupled with the boundless and terrifying sword intent, the demonic chi filled the entire space. Tyranny Heavenly Seas wanted to kill Qin Zhan, Qin Mu, and Qin Wan before Ling Xiao could escape from the 5-poison absolute kill formation. The three of them retreated continuously, and Qin Mu finally couldn't hold on any longer. He gave a miserable cry and flew out. An extremely terrifying bloody wound appeared on his body, with black devil chi spreading out from it. His cultivation was the lowest among the three, and he was also the first to give up. With his collapse, the combined power of the three became even weaker. Tyranny Heavenly Ocean's terrifying fist intent came out again. Qin Zhan and Qin Wan were both sent flying, their bodies covered in wounds. Humph, a bunch of trash. You can't even last a minute. Let's see how Ling Xiao will save you. He looked coldly in the direction of Sea-Watch City. Although he didn't know what Ling Xiao was doing, he knew that Ling Xiao could see the battle here. He wanted to kill all three of them right in front of Ling Xiao's eyes. Kill! Tyranny Heavenly Seas didn't want any unforeseen events to happen. The terrifying Devil Sky sword stabbed forward. The terrifying sword intent was dozens of meters wide. Grass and trees that touched it instantly rotted. If this sword stabbed down, not only would Qin Zhan, Qin Mu, and Qin Wan die, but the several thousand players behind them would also be buried with them. But at this moment, an extremely terrifying aura emerged from the darkness. This powerful aura caused Tyranny Heavenly Seas' expression to change greatly. He actually felt fear. The Devil Sky sword's powerful sword intent was easily dissolved by another sword intent, as easily as a sword of steel cutting through a wooden sword. The demonic chi in the surroundings also retreated in an instant, returning to Tyranny Heavenly Seas' side. Tyranny Heavenly Seas looked in horror at the figure that walked out from the darkness. It was this person. Just the aura he released was enough to suppress him to the point where he couldn't bear it. Ah! Tyranny Heavenly Seas roared, finally revealing his double-faced Buddha form. In this form, he was at the peak of his strength. The pressure lessened slightly, but beads of sweat still dripped from his forehead. A rebirth realm expert. Are you 9 Heavens Palace's senior, 9 Heavens due? Tyranny Heavenly Seas recognized this terrifying woman. He vaguely remembered that this woman seemed to have appeared at the White Tiger Storm gathering and had even saved Ling Xiao. Haha, you still remember me. That's good. 9 Heavens due smiled faintly. Although Ling Xiao had told her to return to 9 Heavens Palace, 9 Heavens due had sensed that the Tianhai Empire, Silver Fox Empire, and the Oceanids had joined forces to wage war against the Heavenly Dynasty Empire. She was afraid that Ling Xiao would be in danger, so she stayed. Although she hadn't shown herself, she had always been hiding near Ling Xiao, secretly protecting Ling Xiao. She hadn't planned on coming out today, because the life and death of others had nothing to do with her. She only needed to protect Ling Xiao. However, Ling Xiao had asked for her help. She hadn't expected that kid to have discovered her long ago. He just hadn't said anything. That kid had begged her, so what could she do? She could only agree. Besides, she really didn't care about a mere Tyranny Heavenly Seas. Since 9 Heavens Palace had agreed to ally with the Heavenly Dynasty Empire, they couldn't ignore the Heavenly Dynasty Empire's enemies. There would be a battle sooner or later. The earlier she came, the earlier it would be over. Ling Xian and Vice Leader Chen's expressions weren't very good. The other side had actually sent such a powerful rebirth realm expert to help. Today's plan could be considered a complete failure. Ha 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 ha. I didn't think that Nine Heavens Palace would interfere in the mundane affairs of the world. Be careful not to lose your life. Suddenly, a burst of wild laughter came from the distance. A moment later, four figures appeared in front of everyone at almost the same time. The one who spoke was naturally the Emperor of the Heavenly Sea Empire. With him was Tianhai Holy Institution's Dean Tianhai Nua, Silver Fox Empire's Queen of Green Hill, and Black Tortoise Temple's Bound Sky. For rebirth realm experts appeared here at the same time. It seemed that they had prepared a trap long ago, waiting for Ling Xiao to fall into it. Haha, what a big scene. Emperor of Heavenly Seas, when you were imprisoned in the Heavenly Prison Temple, you still had some heroic spirit. Unfortunately, under the threat of others, you became a dog of the Black Tortoise Temple. Others may not know this, but I know very well. And you, Queen of Green Hill, your two disciples are actually spies of the Black Tortoise Temple. You don't dare to treat the Black Tortoise Temple as your enemy, but instead treat Ling Xiao and the Heavenly Dynasty Empire as your enemy. Chapter 2062. Nine Heavens Do continued. As for you, Bound Sky, you're a complete piece of trash. You escaped from imprisoning our old palace lord. You actually let him escape from imprisoning Ling Xiao. I really don't know what else you can do. Shut up. The three of them roared almost at the same time, all appearing very furious. The Nine Heavens was clearly exposing their shortcomings. In these matters they were indeed too shameful. Shut up? Are you angry from embarrassment? What can four trash do even if they join forces? Do you really think that I, Nine Heavens will be afraid? If it was before, Nine Heavens might be afraid of these four people joining forces. But after cultivating with the benefits that Ling Xiao released in Nine Heavens Palace, her cultivation had long broken through. Now these four people, even if she could not kill them, she was absolutely not afraid. Then what if I join in? In the sky, the roar of a ferocious tiger came. White Tiger Empire's Tiger King had arrived. Nine Heavens frowned and said, "Revenge for your son." That's right. Ling Xiao killed my son, Lei Lai. I naturally have to kill him. Since you're on Ling Xiao's side, then you have to die too. Tiger King said coldly. Good, very good. Attack together. What's there to be afraid of with one more trash? After a moment of shock, Nine Heavens raised the long sword in her hand. Surging sword qi pierced through the haze in the sky. She was like a sword immortal, standing there with sharpness everywhere. Everyone be careful. Work together to finish this guy. Tianhai King reminded. The 5 rebirth realm martial artists are going to work together to deal with Nine Heavens Rumble. Terrifying energy exploded in the sky. The combined strength of the 5 people was indeed formidable. Nine Heavens figure retreated explosively, blood spewing from her mouth. This attack actually caused her to be severely injured. But those 5 people did not have it easy either, especially Tianhai Nua, whose strength was the weakest among the 5. He actually had his throat pierced by Nine Heavens sword qi, dying tragically on the spot. 5 against 1. Although Nine Heavens was heavily injured, 1 person died. Furthermore, the other 4 were also injured. This was truly considered a lose-lose situation. Don't give her a chance to heal. Kill her. The Tianhai King understood that once the Nine Heavens was restored, the 4 of them would die. Thus, no matter what, he couldn't give the Nine Heavens a chance to recover. The Sky Sea King, the Tiger King, the Green Hill Queen, and Bound Star all leapt up at the same time and unleashed a combined attack at the Nine Heavens Don't blame us for your death. You can only blame yourself for choosing the wrong opponent. The Tianhai King coldly snorted. With the combined strength of the 4 of them, even if all 4 of them were slightly injured, they would definitely be able to kill the nine heavens dew. Tiger roar, fox cry, crocodile god roar. In addition, his martial soul, which was like a heavenly prison, suppressed the power of the nine heavens dew. This made nine heavens dew smile, helplessly and bitterly. I'm sorry, little brother Ling Xiao. Your big sister, Lu, has no choice today. The nine heavens dew struggled to stand up, preparing to perish together with her opponent. Boom! Suddenly, a terrifying bolt of lightning fell from the sky. The thunderbolt struck Bound Star directly and killed him on the spot. The void was torn apart, and several figures stepped out from it. The thunderbolt was wrapped in a terrifying aura. The Sky Sea King, the Tiger King, and the Green Hill Queen's attacks completely dissipated. Nine Heavens Dream! The Sky Sea King's expression was extremely ugly. One Nine Heavens dew was already very difficult for them, and now there was another Nine Heavens Dream. The most depressing thing was that this Nine Heavens Dream had just arrived and already killed Bound Star. This greatly reduced their strength. There were a few others who followed, namely Long Chen, Cold Plum, Feng Minglian, Jiluayu, Mou, and Zhu Shaotsong. It was obvious that these people's strength had been greatly improved, especially Long Chen and Cold Plum. That terrifying aura was actually not inferior to the Sky Sea tyranny at all. Those who dare to harm my Nine Heavens Palace die. Nine Heavens Dream's expression was extremely gloomy. If he wasn't wrong, this should be her martial soul. Boom, boom, boom. Several thunderbolts fell again, directly towards the Sky Sea King and the others, wanting to kill them all on the spot. In his despair, the Sky Sea King saw a pitch-black figure appear above his head. This person raised both hands, and a pitch-black wind whistled up, actually blocking all the thunderbolts. Nine Heavens Dream, you dare to kill my Black Tortoise Temple's people? Xianming. Nine Heavens Dream frowned. The person who came was Xianming. Although these thunderbolts were not her full strength, Xianming had actually come personally. That meant that the venerables of the 13 palaces, other than the 2 who had already been killed, should all be here. 11 rebirth realm experts, plus Xianming, the Tiger King, the Sky Sea King, and the Green Hill Queen. That was a total of 15 people. It was too difficult for her to deal with these 15 people alone. Nine Heavens Dream. Today, you will die with your good junior sister, Nine Heavens Dew. I really want that Ling Xiao to see how he will kill you all. Ha 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 ha. Xianming laughed maniacally. He did not believe that he could not kill Nine Heavens Dream with 15 rebirth realm experts working together. Sect Master Xianming, that kid will probably come out soon. He said 10 minutes, and 5 minutes have already passed. The Sky Sea King reminded. It's just a mere Ling Xiao. Are you really afraid of him? So what if he comes out? Even if he comes out now, he will still die. Xianming looked at the Sky Sea King with disdain and said, Go! Kill Nine Heavens Dream and Nine Heavens Dew first! Yes, the remaining 11 venerables nodded. The Tiger King, the Green Hill Queen, and the Sky Sea King also took the opportunity to attack. 15 people working together against Nine Heavens Dream. Even though Nine Heavens Dream was strong enough, after a fierce battle, she still fell heavily to the ground. Although she was not dead, she seemed to be in a critical situation. Damn it, kill her! Xianming was furious because in the process of injuring Nine Heavens Dream, he had lost another 5 venerables. Now, there were only 6 venerables of the 13 palaces left. Including him, there were only 7. This loss was too great. Besides him, the others were all injured to some extent. Because of this, he was so furious. If he could not kill Nine Heavens Dream today, he would have suffered a great loss this time. Palace Master, why did you come out? You know they have more people. Nine Heavens Dew looked at Nine Heavens Dream and smiled bitterly. I had no choice but to come. I have been in seclusion for so many years, and the burden of protecting Nine Heavens Palace is all on you. If you die, Won't I feel guilty for the rest of my life? I have already made a big mistake with the death of the old palace master. How can I make another mistake? Nine Heavens Dream shook her head, looking very determined. If the Nine Heavens do died, she might as well die together with this good sister of hers. Now that Nine Heavens Palace had Ling Xiao, it was only a matter of time before it flourished. Her mission was over. Chapter 2063. Good. Very good. Very good. Nine Heavens Dream, Nine Heavens Do. What a pair of sisters. If you want to die, I'll grant you your wish. But don't worry, I won't let you die now. I will capture all of you and throw you into the heavenly prison. I will let all of you watch as Ling Xiao, whom you have placed all your hopes in, is killed by me. Your Nine Heaven Palace will be destroyed. Xian Ming was furious. Ling Long Palace gave him so many rebirth realm martial artists, but he lost a few of them. If he returned, he would be severely punished. And all of this was because of these two. He wanted these two to suffer the most painful torture in the world. Mentally, physically. Long Qin, Long Mei, we will fight with our lives on the line. We might even perish together until we die in battle. You two are the strongest among them. Take the others and leave. It'll be too late if you're late. If a rebirth realm martial artist had the will to die and was determined to perish together with his opponent, then it would be extremely terrifying. A martial artist of this cultivation level would have a terrifying amount of energy in his body. Once he self-destructed, everything within a few hundred miles would be affected. That was why he asked Long Chen and Cold Plum to take Qin Zhan and the others away. That way, they wouldn't be affected. You want to leave? Not so fast. Xian Ming said coldly, Tiger King, stop those people. Don't let them leave. Leave Nine Heavens Dream and Nine Heavens Do to me. Understood. Tiger King, Tianhai King, and Qingqiu, Queen got into position and charged at Long Qin and the others. They wanted to kill them on the spot. Dead people wouldn't run away. Swoosh! Suddenly, a shocking black sword chi pierced through the void. Qingqiu Queen and Tiger King didn't even have time to scream before their heads were chopped off. Only Tianhai King was cunning. He hid behind Tiger King and dodged the terrifying sword chi. Everyone looked at the black figure in the sky in horror. Demon Liquor Sword, are you here to die too? Don't forget, you're not even a match for me. It turned out that the Wine Demon Sword had returned. He had gone to the Black Tortoise Continent for a month and helped Ling Xiao investigate the important reason why the 5 great powers of the Western region were in a hurry to recruit talents. He came back today. I know, the Liquor Demon Sword said indifferently. How dare you come here when you know that? Do you want to die? Xian Ming said angrily. He was really unhappy. One by one, they came out to disturb his good business. This made him extremely angry. What's there to fear about death? I'm just a little regretful that I didn't get to see her before I die. The demon wine sword smiled and slowly landed on the ground. He turned to the Nine Heavens Dream and Nine Heavens Do behind him and said, the two of you can take them away. I'll stop them here. Since he had chosen to come here, he was determined to die. Death was scary, but not being able to protect the people you wanted to protect was even scarier. Today, no one will be able to leave this place. Every single one of you will die. Xian Ming was furious. He was really angry. This white tiger continent belonged to his black tortoise temple. He absolutely could not allow Ling Xiao to touch it. Today, he was going to settle things with Ling Xiao's forces here. Kill! Xian Ming pounced out crazily. The 6 supremacies behind him also attacked at the same time. The demon wine sword waved his long sword and blocked with all his might. Time also passed slowly. 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes. Xian Ming's attacks became even more ferocious. The demon wine sword's body was riddled with wounds. There was almost no place that was intact. If not for his superb sword skills, he would probably have become a corpse by now. He stood there, dripping with blood. However, the look in his eyes did not change in the slightest. 9 heavens dream and 9 heavens do were also fighting with all their might, trying to lead Qin Zhan and the rest to escape. However, the other party had too many people and their strength was too strong. They were really at a disadvantage. Old dog Xianming, remember this for me. I will definitely leave no one alive in the Black Tortoise Temple. This is the price for your mistake. The voice came from the poisonous miasma and seemed to be very close. Ling Xiao could see everything that was happening outside. He saw the demon wine, sword covered in blood, and saw 9 heavens dream and 9 heavens do covered in wounds. He was really angry and annoyed. For a moment, he decided to throw caution to the wind and completely release the 7 sky demon kings in the mark between his eyebrows. Go ahead, kill them all, and let the end of the world truly descend upon this world. However, the Yuan Venerate stopped him. The result of completely releasing the 7 sky demon kings might be completely out of control. You might even kill your own people before the enemy kills them. Calm down. The Yuan Venerate also knew why his disciple, who had always been calm and cautious, would become so angry today. It was because this disciple was too sentimental. Just like how he had massacred the sea race, tribe to avenge Meng Tong and Xan. This was something that Ling Xiao would not have done in the past. However, he had done it in the end because his 2 good brothers had been killed. It was the same today. He really hoped that nothing would happen to the demon wine sword. If something really happened to the demon wine sword, Ling Xiao would definitely go crazy. In the end, no one would be able to persuade him or control him. If I was afraid of you, I wouldn't have come here. Xianming sneered and said, Don't say that you didn't come out. Even if you came out, you could only be buried with them. Do you still want to kill me? Do you really think you have the strength? Whoosh! Suddenly, a gust of wind blew past, and the haze in the sky dispersed. A full moon hung in the sky. What's going on? It's daytime now. How can there be a moon? Everyone was inexplicably astonished. Xianming also felt a chill run down his spine. He actually felt his hair stand on end. What the hell? Could this be Ling Xiao's doing? Tyranny Heavenly Ocean furrowed his brows. In his eyes, Ling Xiao was already an omnipotent existence. This was the truest thought in his heart. Who's there pretending to be a ghost? Come out if you have the ability. Our Linglong Palace is doing something here. Whoever dares to stop us will be killed without mercy. Xianming roared towards the sky as if to hide his fear and uneasiness. The moonlight became even brighter, but the surrounding air became abnormally cold. In the sky, a figure seemed to step out of the moon palace. Her long hair swayed gently in the wind. Her pure, white dress accentuated her fairy-like beauty. No, she was a fairy-like woman. A fairy-like woman who walked out of the moon palace. The moonlight shone on the ground. Everyone felt a burst of coldness on their body, so cold that it made their hearts tremble. The moonlight on the ground was like frost, making people not dare to act rashly. In that instant, everyone's eyes seemed to be frozen. They all stared at that figure as if they had never seen such a beauty in the world. In front of this woman, everything around her was not worth mentioning. Who are you? After a long time, Xianming woke up from his shock and asked, Her Highness Moon Maiden. Chapter 2064. Sigh, my little man, I'm still worried about you. In the sky, the cold and frosty fairy said something that made all the men go crazy, making them envious and jealous to death. Who was her little man? Who was qualified to be her man? Only mediocre people don't get jealous. Your man is improving too fast. Some people can't stand it anymore, so they want to kill me. But Sister Moon Maiden, I'm really happy that you're back. A figure stepped out of the 5-poison absolute kill array. Ling Xiao finally broke through the array at the 9th minute and appeared in front of everyone. Tyrannical Heavenly Ocean, I'll leave Ling Xiao and those trash to you and your father. Leave this woman to me. Xianming looked at the Moon Maiden with jealousy and possessiveness. Such a woman shouldn't belong to a brat like Ling Xiao. Only he had the right to have her. Is that so? Do you have the strength? The Moon Maiden looked at Xianming indifferently. Her eyes were cold and emotionless. As her voice sounded, a graceful and noble aura rolled out from her body. The sky seemed to have turned into a world of moonlight. It was clearly daytime, but the power of the moon was everywhere. The moonlight shone on the ground as if to compete with Qi Yang for this world. Rebirth realm expert. And it seems more than one reincarnation. Xianming frowned. The Moon Maiden's aura was too strong. He was definitely not a match for the Moon Maiden. But if he added the 6 venerables from the temples, it might be enough. On top of that, he had a powerful weapon that could be put to use at a critical moment. Everyone looked at the Moon Maiden in the sky in shock. In the Heavenly Empire, almost everyone knew that the Heavenly Emperor only loved one woman in his life. This woman was extremely strong and loyal. After she helped the Heavenly Emperor conquer the world and unify the Dragon Phoenix continent, she quietly left. Such a rumor was treated as a joke in the White Tiger continent. Almost all the martial artists in the White Tiger continent thought that the people of the Heavenly Empire were raising their status. An ant like Ling Xiao, how strong could a woman be? But now they understood. Sometimes legends weren't jokes. They were real. The Moon Lady in front of him was not only peerless like Feng Hua, but she was also extremely powerful. Even Xianming felt waves of fear. Xianming had predicted many things. He had guessed that the 9 heavens dream, the 9 heavens do, and the demon wine sword would take action. However, he had never thought that the strongest rebirth realm warrior in Ling Xiao's team would be a strange woman. However, they had already shed all pretenses of cordiality today. They had no choice but to brace themselves and continue this battle. Attack together. Xianming used the same method to deal with Zhou Tianming, trying to bully them with numbers, including him, 7 rebirth realm martial artists working together. He did not believe that they could not deal with a woman. Strength of 7. Dark, underworld, heavenly wrath palm. The other 6 people from the Black Tortoise Sacred Hall did not attack immediately. Instead, they transferred their internal energy to Xianming. This allowed Xianming to release all the moves that he normally couldn't use. The terrifying palm strike was like the wrath of the heavens. It was much stronger than the one he had used to deal with Zhou Tianming. Ignorant. The fairy said these 2 words in disdain. Then, she opened her eyes and didn't even make a move. The terrifying power of the moon shot out from her eyes. Then it wrapped around the dark underworld heavenly wrath palm, tore it apart and destroyed it. Xianming was shocked. The strength of the Moon Lady was beyond his expectations. Release your martial souls. Xianming roared. Yes. The 7 people released their martial souls. Behind Xianming, there was a strange spiritual fire burning. Within the spiritual fire, there was a huge azure gate. That was Xianming's martial soul. The power of the other 6 people's martial souls was integrated into the azure gate. A dark and evil aura was released from the azure gate, making people feel uneasy. Big brother, is the Moon Lady all right? Long Qin asked in private. She's fine. If there are no accidents, Xianming and the others won't be able to kill her. After Ling Xiao saw the Moon Lady's attack, although he was not sure of the Moon Lady's true strength, he had a general idea. You still have time to worry about others. Worry about yourself first. At this moment, Heavenly Ocean Tyranny snorted coldly, and a terrifying punch flew over, wanting to kill Soaring Cloud. However, Ling Xiao did not move. On the contrary, Long Chen, who was beside him, suddenly exploded. With a dragon roar, Long Chen blocked Heavenly Ocean Tyranny's punch. He even forced Heavenly Ocean Tyranny back a step. Long Chen himself stood in place without moving. Heavenly Ocean Tyranny, you're just a defeated opponent of my big brother. You're no longer qualified to fight with my big brother. Today I'll kill you. Dragon power gushed out from Long Chen's body and instantly turned into a golden dragon, confronting Heavenly Ocean Tyranny's double-faced Buddha. Long Chin, this kid, I haven't seen him for a few days. It seems like he's improved a lot. Even Heavenly Ocean Tyranny is not his opponent. Ling Xiao had always believed that Long Chen's potential was enormous. If he did not have the Sky Tyrant martial soul, he would not be able to compete with Long Chen. The Sky Tyrant martial soul was his biggest advantage. Boom! Suddenly, another person attacked Ling Xiao. This person's face was covered, and she wore blood-red clothes. She looked like someone who had crawled out of a pile of corpses. She was the Heavenly Demon Cult's leader, Ling Xian. Ling Xian's specialty was assassination. In the blink of an eye, she disappeared. When she reappeared, she was already at Ling Xiao's side. Unfortunately, her attack, which she thought would kill her, was easily blocked by Cold Plum. It seemed that Cold Plum had completely converted the Black Featherman's power into her own. Now, her cultivation base and battle prowess had skyrocketed. Even Ling Xian, an 18th stage life-sizer, was unable to do anything to her. Ling Xiao, return my brother's life. Ling Xian's body exploded, turning into a blood-red substance that disappeared, leaving behind only a single sentence. At almost the same time, Cold Plum's body exploded, turning into pitch-black smoke. I've killed a lot of people. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Do you remember Ling Feng and Ling Yin from the Ling clan in Celestial Peak City? Ling Xian said angrily. Don't tell me you're their older sister. I heard that they had an older sister out there. You look older than them, so you must be their older sister. Ling Xiao couldn't help but feel that this world was full of strange things. He couldn't believe that he would run into his enemies from Celestial Peak City here. That's right. I'm their older sister. Ling Xian blurred into motion again, but unfortunately, Cold Plum blocked her path. If that's the case, Ling Xian said coldly, then it really wasn't worth it to avenge them. Those two pieces of trash not only had zero potential, but also betrayed their clan. Who else would I kill if not them? Ling Xiao said coldly. Bullshit! Ling Xian roared furiously and pounced towards Ling Xiao once again. Chapter 2065. Kill her. I don't talk to unreasonable people. Ling Xiao was too lazy to waste words with Ling Xian. He took a step forward and charged towards Tianhai King, because he realized that Tianhai King, this despicable bastard, wanted to attack the heavily injured Liquor Demon Sword and the others while everyone else was fighting. Yes, master. Cold Plum received Ling Xiao's order to face Ling Xian. For her, if she could kill Ling Xian this time, then she would definitely have a huge breakthrough. Ling Xiao appeared in front of Tianhai King and casually tossed a healing pill to Liquor Demon Sword. Senior, hurry and heal. I'm afraid that even stronger factions will join this battle. Saying this, he punched out with both fists, colliding with Tianhai King's Demon King tyrannical fists. Tianhai King and Tianhai tyrannical ambitions' fighting style was practically the same. Apart from double-faced Buddha, the two of them had probably trained together. It was just that Tianhai King's Demon King tyrannical fists were clearly stronger. It had to be known that this was an attack from Tianhai King while he was injured. Ling Xiao didn't retreat. His feet were practically planted into the ground, but he spat out blood from the corner of his mouth, because Liquor Demon Sword and the others were behind him. If he retreated, they would all suffer. So, even if he was injured, he wouldn't retreat. Good kid, you can actually stand after taking a hit from me. I really have to admire you. Tianhai King looked at Ling Xiao, feeling that this was simply inconceivable. There's no need for admiration. There are still many surprises for you. Power of later Earth. Shield of Earth. Holy King's Eye. Holy Light Illumination. Ling Xiao didn't plan on fighting Tianhai King head-on. What he needed to do now was to protect the injured as well as Long Chun, Cold Plum, and the others who were still fighting. It was fine as long as Tianhai King didn't injure them. As long as Liquor Demon Sword, Nine Heavens Dream, and Nine Heavens Do recovered, their disadvantage would become an advantage. He's very clear about his own strength, so he chose the safest method. King Skysi frantically struck the Gaia shield, but the power of Earth constantly surged out from the ground and fused with the Gaia shield. This made King Skysi frown. At the same time, the holy monarch's eye allowed everyone's injuries to heal faster. After doing all this, Ling Xiao looked at the battle between the Moon Lady and Xianming. Although the Moon Lady was very strong, it wasn't easy for her to deal with 7 people at once. Xianming released the terrifying Azure Gate. A terrifying killing intent was released from the Azure Gate. It was as if it wanted to imprison the Moon Maiden's body in the sky and completely devour the power of the moon. This Azure Gate seemed to possess the ability to swallow and annihilate everything. The Moon Lady looked at the Azure Gate coldly. Above her head, the moon became brighter and brighter. Her hands fluttered in front of her, and her jade-like hands seemed to be dancing gracefully. When it came to her, the battle actually seemed so artistic. The Azure Gate rushed over. The Moon Maiden sneered. The bright moon above her head suddenly released a dazzling light that shot towards the Azure Gate. Boom! The terrifying moonlight completely ignored the Azure Gate. It pierced through it and slammed into Xianming's body. At that moment, Xianming felt as if he had been thrown into an ice-cold moon palace. His body trembled violently. He spat out mouthfuls of blood. How is this possible? How can you be so strong? I don't believe it. Xianming's hair was disheveled and he looked very miserable. He finally took out his trump card. It was a bracelet made of diamond. It was called the Diamond Bracelet. It was made according to the stories that spread outside the Gate of Heaven's Chosen. It had a terrifying sealing power. It could seal the enemy's internal energy and cultivation. Once trapped by the Diamond Bracelet, no matter how strong the opponent was, they would be finished. However, the Diamond Bracelet consumed a terrifying amount of internal energy. Xianming was forced into a desperate situation. Otherwise, he wouldn't have used it. Seal! The Diamond Bracelet pierced through the sky. Xianming transferred the internal energy of 7 rebirth realm warriors into it. The Diamond Bracelet turned into a huge ring and covered the Moon Lady. The moment the Diamond Bracelet was used, many warriors present felt as if their internal energy was being sucked out. It was very uncomfortable. Bright moon in the sky, frost on the earth. The Moon Lady was as calm as before. She muttered in a low voice. The bright moon seemed as if it was about to fall from the sky. At that moment, the Moon Lady disappeared completely. She seemed to have turned into the bright moon in the sky and the moonlight that illuminated the earth. The Diamond Bracelet didn't trap the Moon Lady. It was just moonlight without a physical body. Destroy! Suddenly, a jade-like hand reached out from the moonlight. The hand seemed to be holding the moonlight. It was dazzling. However, there was a terrifying murderous intent that blasted toward Xianming. Xianming's face darkened. He punched with all his strength. He had wanted to save some energy to escape. At this moment, he no longer had any thoughts of escaping. He poured all his strength into this punch. The huge Azure Gate covered the Moon Lady. At the same time, the Diamond Bracelet flew back. However, the Moon Lady just looked on coldly. Her jade-like hand didn't retreat at all. It was as if she ignored all resistance and blasted heavily on Xianming's body. Many people heard the sound of bones breaking. Xianming's body was sent flying dozens of meters away. In mid-air, fragments of his internal organs were spat out from his mouth. At that moment, the Moon Lady disappeared again. She seemed to be everywhere. She turned into endless moonlight and covered the entire earth. No matter how powerful the Diamond Bracelet was, it was meaningless when it lost its target. At that moment, the Moon Lady was the holy fairy of the moon. She was the terrifying assassin of the Moon Palace. I didn't expect Ling Xiao's woman to be so terrifying. Why didn't we get any information about her? The moment Xianming was sent flying, he was filled with regret. He thought that his plan was flawless, that he had calculated everything. but in the end he found that a small woman had made all his plans come to naught. This woman was too strong. She was even stronger than Jiu Tianming. He couldn't believe that there was such a terrifying warrior in the White Tiger mainland. Shouldn't such a warrior exist in the Black Tortoise mainland? It was a pity that no one could answer Xianming's question at that moment. The moment he was sent flying, he could only watch helplessly as his 6 subordinates were killed by the terrifying Fairy of the Moon. It was so easy and comfortable. It was as charming as a beautiful dance. However, it was also terrifying. No, this isn't the result I wanted. Xianming finally landed on the ground. All the bones in his body were shattered. He didn't have any strength to stand up. The moonlight was still bright and beautiful. However, in many people's eyes, the moonlight was so terrifying because it could kill. It could cause the enemy to fall into a terrifying nightmare and be unable to extricate themselves. Chapter 2066. Supreme Immortal. Where it is possible to let people off, one should spare them. Lady Benefactor. Why must you insist on killing them? When the Moon Maiden stepped through the void and was about to kill Xianming, someone else came. A person dressed as a Taoist priest exuded an incomparably powerful aura, as if he was an immortal from the immortal court. It's really lively today. I didn't expect Taoist One Eyebrow of the Genie School to come. Is your Genie School also going to get involved in this mess? Ling Zhao's pressure was reduced a lot because the Tian Hai King had sensed Xianming's failure, so he was preparing to escape and relaxed his attack. That was why he had the chance to observe the person. It was Taoist One Eyebrow of the Genie School. Behind him were 11 other people. These people were the most powerful existences in the Genie School, the 12 spiritual masters. The Genie School claimed to be the same as the 12 immortals under the human king in the past, but their strength was inferior. That was why they called themselves the 12 spiritual masters. Taoist One Eyebrow was naturally the leader. The other 11 were all rebirth, realm powerhouses. This was the true strength of the Genie School. They were not weaker than the Black Tortoise Temple, but they could not compare to the forces of the Black Tortoise Continent. Therefore, the Genie School had always been hiding their strength and biding their time, watching others fight and slowly absorbing disciples. As a result, the Genie School had become a sect that almost all the empires on the White Tiger continent believed in. Originally, if they continued like this, they might really develop into a major sect in the mystic world one day. Unfortunately, Taoist One Eyebrow made a choice that changed him and the Genie School. He believed that when the White Tiger continent was in chaos and the Black Tortoise Temple was in decline, it was time for the Genie School to stand up. This way, they could clean up the mess and truly control the White Tiger continent in their hands. Because of this, he did not make a move at first. He just looked at the Moon Maiden, hoping that this matter could be resolved peacefully and that she would give him face. Of course, if the Moon Maiden did not agree, he did not mind making a move. The 12 spiritual masters of the Genie School were not just in name. They were really strong. Ling Xiao, it's better to squash enmity than keep it alive. You've already killed the Queen of Green Mountains and destroyed the Sea Tribe. This grudge is already considered avenged. Why do you insist on killing? Taoist One Eyebrows looked at Ling Xiao and said with a dignified expression, I withdraw. Then, you will lead the Genie School to incorporate the White Tiger continent into your sphere of influence? Why am I so stupid? Why are you so smart? Ling Xiao hated sanctimonious people the most. They said one thing and did another. They even had to find a reasonable reason for their dirty ways. So, there's nothing to talk about. Taoist One Eyebrow says indifferently, you should understand that although your woman is powerful, she has no chance of winning against the 12 of us. Ling Xiao frowned. He fell silent. He had no choice but to admit that Taoist Imei's words made sense. The 12 people who had appeared out of nowhere were simply too powerful. The Moon Maiden alone was no match for them. Although Ling Xiao hated such people, he had to consider the safety of Moon Lady and the others. Taking a deep breath, he looked at Taoist Imei and said, I can withdraw, but the Tian Hai Sovereign King and his son belong to me. Sure, Taoist One Eyebrow would not fall out with Ling Xiao for the Tianhai Sovereign King. However, he put forward an even harsher condition. I can give you the Tianhai Sovereign King, but Zhu Tiandream and Zhu Tiandu must be taken away by our genie school. I don't want them to deal with us after they recover from their injuries. This old guy was really cunning. He knew very well that once Zhu Tiandream, Zhu Tiandu, and Zhou Ma Sword fully recovered, together with the Moon Maiden, they would definitely pose a great threat to the genie school. Therefore, he wanted to keep Zhu Tiandream and Zhou Tiandu. That's impossible. Ling Xiao refused. You know very well that they are my friends. If you want me, Ling Xiao, to abandon my friends, you will have to kill me. I have already given you the White Tiger Continent. Are you still not satisfied? Hee, immortal Wuliang. This poor Taoist only believes in himself. I won't believe the casual promises of others. Taoist One Eyebrow chuckles. If it doesn't work, then we can only start a massacre. Ha 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 ha. Has the fox finally revealed its tail? Let us return to the Dragon Phoenix continent safely? I think you actually want to kill all of us in your heart, right? Because of our existence, you can't sleep and eat. Ling Xiao suddenly laughed out loud. No one could escape the analysis and prying of his Taiji eye. Taoist One Eyebrow's eyes betrayed him. This old thing was just taking a stalling tactic. First, he would control Zhu Tiandream and Zhou Tiandu, and then unite the other experts of the White Tiger continent to hunt down Ling Xiao and the others until the Dragon Phoenix continent was also included in the forces of the genie school. What a pity! Taoist One Eyebrow suddenly shook his head. What's a pity? Is it a pity that I saw through your scheme? Ling Xiao said sarcastically. It's a pity that the people of the Dragon Phoenix continent and the White Tiger continent could have been spared from suffering. But now it seems that it's unavoidable. Taoist One Eyebrow sighed. Ox nose, don't be a hypocrite. If you really want to avoid suffering, it's fine. Now, your genie school will withdraw from this dispute. I, Ling Xiao, can guarantee that the civilians of the White Tiger continent will not be harmed. As long as they don't attack the soldiers of my heavenly empire, I can treat them as my people. Ling Xiao knew that Taoist One Eyebrow would not agree. He said this just to mock and ridicule the other party. A sanctimonious, old Taoist, One Eyebrow. Everything he said seemed righteous, but in fact he was a hypocrite. Attack! Let's kill that woman together. Taoist One Eyebrow suddenly stopped talking to Ling Xiao because he felt that no matter what he said, Ling Xiao seemed to be able to guess his true intentions. So he planned to attack directly. As long as he killed the Moon Lady, Ling Xiao's side would definitely collapse. I should have done this long ago. Among the 12 spiritual masters, there were also people with fiery tempers who had long planned to attack. After holding it in for a long time, their auras suddenly erupted and reached the level of the mysterious underworld realm. Among the 12 people, 6 had reached the level of the mysterious underworld realm. 2 had reached the level of the 9th heaven dream, and the rest were at the level of the Tianhai Sovereign King. They were all rebirth realm experts, and they wanted to join forces to deal with the Moon Lady. Unlike the random attacks of the people of the Black Tortoise Temple, when the 12 people of the Genie School attacked, they instantly formed the Big Dipper sword formation. There was no special limit to the number of people in this sword formation. However, there were at least 7 people, and at most, there could be thousands of people. The sword formation of the Genie School was formed by 12 people, and they were all rebirth realm martial artists. So the power of the sword formation was very terrifying. It was rumored that more than 100,000 years ago, the 12 immortals had also joined forces to form the Big Dipper sword formation to deal with the terrifying demons from the outer space. In that battle, the sword formation erupted with astonishing power and defeated the demons in a sorry state. Chapter 2067. These people are so strong. Ling Xiao furrowed his brows. The 12 spiritual masters of the Genie School were already powerful, and together with the sword formation, they became even more terrifying. He was really worried about the Moon Maiden. However, at this time he was suppressed by the Tianhai king, who was in the rebirth realm. It was already very difficult for him to protect the liquor demon sword and the others, so it was impossible for him to rescue the Moon Maiden. However, he could not accept the conditions proposed by Taoist One Eyebrow. He could give up the White Tiger continent and hand it over to the Genie school, but he could not abandon his friends. Moreover, Taoist One Eyebrow had the intention to kill all of them to prevent future troubles. No matter what he did, the result would be the same, unless he had the ability to kill all of them. Taoist One Eyebrow, you have to think carefully. Even if you can win the battle with Sister Moon Maiden, there will definitely be countless casualties. Can you bear this price? Ling Xiao said loudly. You don't have to worry about that. Moreover, you won't live to see that day, because everyone here today must die. Ling Xiao, you probably don't know, but you've already angered the Immortal Court. The Exalted Immortals have ordered us to kill you. We didn't succeed in the Divine Phoenix continent, but today you won't have the chance to escape. Perhaps Taoist One Eyebrow felt that his side had a huge advantage, so he simply told the truth. I angered the Immortal Court. Ling Xiao was a little confused. He had never even been to the Immortal Court. How could he have angered those so-called exalted immortals? Sorry, I don't know the reason, but your existence seems to have made the exalted immortals of the Immortal Court very unhappy, so you must die. The Genie School was created by a certain exalted immortal of the Immortal Court. Even all the martial arts of the Genie School were given to them by that exalted immortal in a dream. Therefore, the Genie School was actually a tool of this exalted immortal. There was no reason for Taoist One Eyebrow not to listen to the decree of the exalted immortal he believed in. Okay, enough nonsense. Do it. Try to keep this woman alive. I believe the exalted immortals will like her very much. A cold smile slid across Taoist One Eyebrow's dignified face. Sister Moon Maiden, if you feel like you can't do it, then leave. Just stay alive and avenge us. Don't worry about us. Ling Xiao shouted. The Moon Maiden didn't say anything, but tears fell from the corners of her eyes. Since she had come, how could she abandon Ling Xiao and leave? During the time she disappeared, Ling Xiao came into contact with many outstanding girls, but he had never been tempted by any of them. The only one he liked was her. Just this point alone made the Moon Maiden make up her mind. Even if she were to die in battle today, it was impossible for her to abandon Ling Xiao. It had been more than 100,000 years, and only this cute little fellow was so infatuated with her. She could only repay him with this. The battle finally began in the void. The moonlight in the sky was forcefully torn apart by the dazzling sword chi, and the Moon Lady was completely suppressed. The might of 12 rebirth realm experts working together with the sword formation was simply too terrifying. Only the Moon Maiden was powerful enough to be able to move around these people's sword chi. Although he was being suppressed, he was still uninjured. If it were anyone else, they would have died in battle or been captured alive. The battle continued, and a few bright flowers of blood appeared on the Moon Maiden's body. The other party's attacks were stronger each time. Even though she reacted extremely quickly, she was still injured. However, her expression didn't change at all. Suddenly, a beam of moonlight pierced through the sword formation, and a scream was heard. The weakest among the 12 perfected masters had his heart pierced and died on the spot. However, this group of people was really powerful. After one person died tragically, the sword formation changed rapidly. The 11 of them were still able to control the Big Dipper sword formation perfectly. Fortunately, this sword formation wouldn't be broken as long as there were no less than 7 people. Sect Master, this woman is too powerful. We have to use our trump card. One of the perfected masters from the Genie School shouted. They had only injured the Moon Lady, but the Moon Lady had killed one of them. The price was too great. Okay, the 10 of you preside over the sword formation. I'll wait for an opportunity to attack. Taoist One Eyebrows nodded and then left the sword formation. Then he stood there quietly and watched. It was as if he was waiting for the Moon Maiden to make a mistake. However, a cold smile flashed across the Moon Maiden's face. Taoist One Eyebrows, who had left the sword formation, was no match for her. In that instant, the bright moon in the sky fused into her body. Her body released cold and dazzling moonlight. Her entire body seemed to have turned into a bright moon, looking so transparent and sparkling. Big Sister Moon Maiden. Ling Xiao had a very bad feeling. He was afraid that a huge change would happen. In the past, the Moon Maiden had never undergone such a change. Today, she actually chose to fuse with her martial soul. She turned into a holy bright moon. In that instant, the expressions of the 11 perfected masters, including Taoist One Eyebrows, changed drastically. They could feel the terrifying energy contained in the body of the bright moon. At this moment, Taoist One Eyebrows even planned to give up. "Stop! Surrender! We surrender!" Taoist One Eyebrows roared hysterically. He was really afraid. The stronger he was, the more he could feel the terror of the Moon Maiden. "It's too late. When I turned into a bright moon, you already had no chance." The light on the Moon Maiden's body became brighter and brighter. It was as resplendent as the sun in the daytime, but its color was incomparably cold. It made all the enemies feel a coldness and terror that they had never felt before. It's rumored that only cultivators from the era of the human monarch are still alive on the heavenly dragon continent. I thought it was just a legend, but I didn't expect it to be true. Is she the child of the bright moon by the moonlight fairy's side? Why is she still alive after so many years? And why is she still so peerless in Fanghua? Taoist One Eyebrows could be considered experienced and knowledgeable. When he saw the Moon Maiden transform into the child of the bright moon, he naturally thought of this legend. This legend was once well known, but was only treated as a story. "Kill!" The Moon Maiden spat out a cold voice. In that instant, her figure completely exploded. The moonlight seemed to materialize and shot towards the Big Dipper sword formation and Taoist One Eyebrows. The bright moon hung in the sky, illuminating the earth. The child of the bright moon was born from the bright moon. Although she had a gentle temperament, she was skilled in killing. "Retreat! Retreat quickly!" Taoist One Eyebrows roared in horror. Unfortunately, it was too late. The 10 people of the Big Dipper sword formation were all killed the moment they came into contact with the terrifying moonlight. Taoist One Eyebrows was blasted several hundred meters away by the moonlight. He only had the strength to struggle at death's door. "Haha, that's great. How lucky. I was originally worried that something would happen to my mystic snake demon sex disciples, so I specially came to take a look. I didn't expect to see the child of the bright moon." Chapter 2068. A figure directly tore through the void and walked down. A terrifying demonic aura instantly enveloped the sky and the moon, turning the entire space into a demonic domain. Oppressed by this demonic aura, many people were frightened, as if they wanted to prostrate themselves on the ground and worship this person. Son of the bright moon, born from the immemorial moon, innately possesses the terrifying power of the moon. I thought that this existence had already gone extinct with the disappearance of the human king in the immemorial era. Who would have thought that it would appear on this insignificant white tiger continent? The mysterious snake sect expert spoke as he walked towards the Moon Lady. Terrifying demonic aura continuously bombarded the Moon Lady, turning into a boundless black snake. He was truly too powerful. Facing this person, the Moon Lady actually couldn't release her power. The holy moonlight was continuously compressed and finally completely merged into the Moon Lady's body. "Collect!" The mystic snake sect expert raised his hand and took out a strange moon-shaped pendant. The Moon Lady turned into light and merged into the pendant. Trapped within, she could no longer struggle free. "Master, you've come?" Tyranny Tianhai was being suppressed by Longqin and was currently in a very difficult situation. Seeing the person who had come, he couldn't help but be overjoyed and shouted excitedly, "Trash! I originally liked you a little and thought that you were a promising talent. Who would have thought that you would be so useless? If you can't kill him, don't return to the mysterious snake sect." The expert in the sky hung the pendant around his neck and then looked coldly at Tyranny Tianhai. "Master, don't worry, I will definitely kill him. Definitely." Tyranny Tianhai didn't believe that he couldn't even kill Longqin. If he couldn't kill Longqin, he really wasn't worthy of such a powerful master. "Son of the bright moon, I heard that as long as one consumes your light, they will become immortal. This is too tempting for a martial artist." The mysterious snake sect expert no longer paid attention to Tyranny Tianhai. Instead, he touched the pendant around his neck and smiled. "Don't worry, your power has been absorbed by me. That is your glory. After returning, I will think of a way to properly take care of you." The moonlight in the pendant struggled with all its might, constantly hitting the pendant's barrier. The pendant seemed to have cracked. "You're really stubborn. I've already enjoyed you. What's wrong with that? Why must you come out?" The expert from the mystic snake demon sect sneered. Terrifying black chi seeped into the pendant, trying to trap the moonlight. "Stop it!" A loud roar came from the ground. Then an eerie demonic aura shot up into the sky. A heavenly demon war god stood there, his silver eyes filled with killing intent. Then a sword light pierced out at an astonishing speed. "Ignorant brat, you think you can pierce through my defense?" The experts from the Mystic Snake sect looked at Ling Xiao with disdain. The fact that a life-sizer would actually dare to make a move against him left Yang Qi in awe. Ling Xiao's silver pupils were devoid of any emotion, and the expression on his face did not change. "Something's wrong." The powerhouses from the Mystic Snake Demon sect were horrified to discover that Ling Xiao's sword was so sharp that it contained a murderous aura that could destroy heaven and earth. It pierced through his defensive vital energy and severed the pendant's chain. A shadowy figure grabbed the pendant and handed it over to Ling Xiao. "Bastard! How dare you make a fool of me?" This expert from the Mystic Snake Demon sect was far stronger than Ling Xiao, and yet never in his wildest dreams could he have imagined that he would lose his precious pendant to Ling Xiao. Enraged, he summoned his terrifying, baleful, devilish energy, transforming it into an 8-headed serpent that shot toward Ling Xiao. "Human King Cauldron, stop him!" The Human King Cauldron flew out of Ling Xiao's body and shot toward the Mystic Snake Demon sect expert. The terrifying 8-headed serpent was instantly suppressed and couldn't move. Isn't that the Human King Cauldron in the Myriad Lightning's extreme ground? How could it be in your hands? The Mystic Snake Demon sect expert resisted with all his might to be able to hold his own against the Human King Cauldron, but it was impossible for him to repel it. Fortunately, Ling Xiao wasn't strong enough to unleash the true power of the Human King Cauldron. Otherwise, the Mystic Snake Demon sect expert would have been instantly killed by the Human King Cauldron. Ling Xiao didn't pay any attention to the Mystic Snake Devil sect expert's roar. He gently stroked the pendant in his hand and sucked out the baleful, devilish energy from it. The moonlight stopped struggling and lay quietly inside, as if she had recognized Ling Xiao. Why, Sister Moon Maiden, you didn't have to do this." Ling Xiao was distressed. Rumor had it that the bright Moon Maiden had taken 10 reincarnations to transform into her human form. And now, the Moon Maiden was willing to return to her moon form for him and his friends. To transform back into her human form, she had to go through 10 reincarnations and go through untold hardships. "Why are you so good to me? I'm not worth it at all." Ling Xiao's tears rolled down from his eyes drop by drop. At this moment, other than sadness, there was only sadness. He wished he could replace the Moon Maiden. His path of martial arts had always been fraught with danger. Therefore, it was normal for him to encounter danger. Even if he died in battle or was captured alive, he wouldn't regret it because this was the path he had chosen. Whether he succeeded or failed, he wouldn't regret it. Even in the face of death, he could remain calm. However, he couldn't accept that the Moon Maiden had degenerated because of him. You shouldn't have come back. You really shouldn't have come back. If I, Ling Xiao, die here today, that's my fate. It means that this is the end for me. Why did you come back? He roared in grief and indignation. My cute little man, don't cry. The Moon Maiden's voice suddenly sounded in Ling Xiao's mind. Her voice was still as gentle and loving as before. Sister Moon Maiden. Ling Xiao wiped his tears and looked at the pendant in his hand excitedly. He didn't know why, but since the Moon Maiden was still conscious, it meant that the situation hadn't reached its worst yet. Silly, I'm not dead yet. There's no need to cry so sadly. The voice sounded again. Even if I die, I'll be satisfied for you. After more than 100,000 years of loneliness, I've long forgotten what love is, what joy is, and what life is. Why do I live? Why am I born? I can't find my goal anymore. I've been holed up in the Yuehua school all day, like a dried-up zombie. Until you appeared, everything changed. In the midst of my gray life, there was a special kind of color. You're really funny. You're not afraid of death. You actually said you liked me and wanted to marry me? At that time, I only thought you were a child who was still wet behind the ears. I only said it casually and forgot about it very quickly. However, I didn't expect that you weren't just saying it. You fulfilled the conditions I set. You dared to fight an enemy who was several times stronger than you for me. Chapter 2069. The Moon Lady's voice reverberated in Ling Xiao's mind. I thought that you would forget about this old woman who doesn't know how to smile and pull a long face after entering this colorful world and seeing so many beautiful young ladies. However, I was wrong. You didn't. You have always loved me and used your own way to explain your tender but precious feelings. I am content. After more than 100,000 years, my life has been rich and colorful. Even if I die now, I will have no regrets. Say no more. Since you know how much I like you, don't die. No matter what you become, I will help you recover. Ling Xiao shouted. I have to experience 10 reincarnation cycles before I can finally take human form. During this period, I will become very weak. Are you really willing to protect me? The Moon Lady asked with a smile. Nonsense. If I don't protect my woman, who will? 10 reincarnation cycles? I will follow you through 10 reincarnation cycles. Ling Xiao said loudly. You really didn't misjudge him. The Yuan Venerate's voice was suddenly heard. These words were directed at Ling Xiao. Master, what do you mean by this? Ling Xiao didn't understand. The Yuan Venerate sighed. She originally wanted me to keep this a secret for you. However, I have to say it today. Do you know that you almost went berserk because of a mishap in your cultivation? It was really dangerous at the time. If you hadn't been treated in time, you might have lost your most precious martial soul and your cultivation would have been crippled. Although you wouldn't have died, you would have been no different from a cripple. For your sake, she bestowed her precious bright moon essence to you. This allowed you to avoid the danger of qi deviation, and at the same time allowed your cultivation speed to greatly increase. However, she lost her precious bright moon essence and needed several years to fully recover. Otherwise, given her cultivation speed, how could that trash from the mysterious snake demon sect be a match for her? Why are you so foolish? Ling Xiao's voice became cold and terrifying. He clenched the pendant tightly and carefully placed it in his pocket before looking at the powerhouse from the mysterious snake demon sect in the sky. His eyes became even colder. His aura became even colder. The heavenly devil incarnation was actually shrinking from the originally 10 meters tall heavenly devil war god. Slowly, it became the size of a normal person. However, not only did the demonic qi on Ling Xiao's body not weaken, it became even more terrifying and gloomy. At that moment, everyone couldn't help but shudder thinking that the end of the world was coming. Panic spread among the people, especially Ling Zhao's enemies. This guy is about to turn into a demon. The expert from the Mystic Snake sect frowned. In the past, although Ling Zhao was also proficient in demonic qi and knew how to use the heavenly demon incarnation, he only used the demon as a tool to prevent the demon from infecting his soul. However, from the moment Ling Zhao learned of Meng Tong and Xian's deaths, the demon in Ling Zhao's body had gradually awakened. The seed of a demon began to sprout. The reason why he was able to destroy the Sea tribe was because of the demon in his heart. Now, facing the tragedy of the Moon Lady being beaten back to her original form, the demon in Ling Zhao's heart became even stronger. But Ling Zhao didn't care. The Moon Lady was willing to be beaten back to her original form for him, willing to undergo 10 reincarnations for him. Why couldn't he turn into a demon for the Moon Lady? The dark seal on his forehead began to slowly open. Terrifying demonic qi seeped out and enveloped Ling Zhao's entire body. At this moment, even his own people couldn't help but tremble in fear when they saw Ling Zhao. Too terrifying. That sort of bone-chilling evil made it impossible to look straight at him. But the Moon Lady was the only one in the pendant, sticking close to Ling Zhao. She could feel the warmth in Ling Zhao's heart. Tian Hai Sovereign King, what are you waiting for? Kill him. The expert from the Mystic Snake sect suddenly felt an intense unease, as if something terrifying was about to happen. He shouted at the Tian Hai Sovereign King. The Tian Hai Sovereign King did not dare to disobey his orders. Moreover, this Sovereign King had also sensed Ling Zhao's rising aura. This aura made him very uncomfortable. He charged at Ling Zhao, the powerful aura of a rebirth realm martial artist, completely erupting. Once again, he slammed into the Shield of Earth. At this moment, the Shield of Earth had become pitch black because of being contaminated by demonic qi, emitting traces of the demonic realm's aura. Rumble! A crack appeared on the Shield of Earth. The Tian Hai Sovereign King revealed a delighted expression. Ling Zhao, you're dead for sure. This time, let's see what else you have to block me. He guessed that Ling Zhao had used most of his strength to maintain the Human King Cauldron's defenses, so the Shield of Earth had naturally weakened. As long as he could get close to Ling Zhao, then Ling Zhao's death was certain. He had never thought that Ling Zhao could be his match. Ling Zhao did not utter a word. Terrifying demonic qi continued to be released from the seal between his brows. It enveloped him and the space around him. The world seemed to be dyed black, a scene of desolation and fear. Ling Zhao was determined to become a devil. Only by becoming a devil could he kill the enemies in front of him, protect his people, and avenge the Moon Ladies, Meng Tong, Xian, and the countless soldiers who had died in battle. In the distance, the sound of iron hooves trampling the earth grew closer and closer. The 300,000 navy under Qin Zhan's command had already landed. Someone had informed them of what had happened here. Perhaps because of the chaos, the enemy did not notice that Qin Mu, who had just been blasted away, had disappeared. He had been blasted too far away and had been rescued by Xie Li, who was hiding in the dark. Xie Li also wanted to help in the battle, but she understood that with her strength, it would be better to call for reinforcements. Qin Zhan's army of 300,000 could definitely deal the greatest blow to the Tian Hai Empire. Qin Zhan, lead your army of 300,000 and take down Tian Hai City. Can you do it? Ling Zhao ordered Qin Zhan, his cold voice able to freeze the world. Of course I can. Qin Zhan had completely rebelled. Until now, he still hadn't rebelled, unless he was a stubborn idiot. The Tian Hai imperial family was on his side, yet they wanted him dead. Ling Zhao was clearly the enemy, yet he wanted to save him. If he still couldn't see this clearly, then his years as a general would have been in vain. Very good, you go first. The Heavenly Empire's army will land soon, and the follow-up troops will help you, so you don't have to worry about being alone. Ling Zhao nodded, his face devoid of emotion, only coldness and ruthlessness. Understood. Qin Wan, take your people and follow me. Yes, Qin Zhan, Qin Wan, and the 1,000 elites of Tianhai City walked into the distance. Halt! The Tianhai sovereign king, who had been attacking the Shield of Earth, suddenly turned to attack Qin Zhan and the others. He could not allow Qin Zhan to occupy Tianhai City. Once it was occupied, the Tianhai Empire would truly be finished. Even if it wasn't occupied by the Heavenly Empire, it would probably be occupied by another empire. Chapter 2070. The Tianhai king wanted to kill Qin Zhan because he couldn't allow him to lead an army of 300,000 to Tianhai City. But just as he was about to pounce on Qin Zhan, a terrifying devil will seeped into his body, and he couldn't help but shiver. Even his soul felt a terrifying tremor and fear. What's going on? Shocked, he hurriedly circulated his soul power to resist the terrifying devil will. But he didn't turn around. He knew that the devil will came from Ling Xiao, and that Ling Xiao wasn't strong enough to hurt him. Right now, he had to kill Qin Zhan first. Didn't you want to kill me? Suddenly, a cold voice rang out in the Tianhai king's ear. An unprecedented fear rose in the Tianhai king's heart. Even though he didn't want to admit it, he was really scared. He was actually scared stiff by Ling Xiao. Die, Tianhai king. You don't have the right to own such a vast territory. Boom! The Tianhai king's body exploded in the air and devil energy surged. Everyone stared at this scene with their mouths agape. They simply couldn't believe it. How could Ling Xiao have killed the Tianhai king? Even if the Tianhai king had underestimated him, a life-sizer shouldn't have been able to kill a rebirth realm cultivator. Furthermore, the Tianhai king wasn't seriously injured, unlike Paragon Magic Cube, who had been seriously injured by the 9 Heavens Due. How had he done it? No one had seen how Ling Xiao had killed the Tianhai king. Only Ling Xiao himself knew. He hadn't released much of the devil energy sealed in his forehead, because he didn't want to lose his mind. So, with his current strength, he really couldn't kill the Tianhai king. But he needed to intimidate him. So he had the Butterfly Lady act. The Butterfly Lady was also in the rebirth realm, and was stronger than the Tianhai king. Unfortunately, she could only act once a day, so she could only be used at the most critical moment. Now that Ling Xiao had decided to become bedeviled, he naturally didn't need the Butterfly Lady's power. Right now, using her strength to kill the Tianhai king was the best choice. Revenge for Meng Tong, revenge for Xan, and also to take revenge for the countless soldiers of the Heavenly Dynasty who had been tricked. Ling Xiao wrapped the Butterfly Lady's attack with devil chi, so it looked like he was the one who attacked. This scene stunned everyone at the scene. Looking at the young man who was floating in midair, the black demonic chi rising continuously, many people felt a deep fear in their hearts. How could it be so terrifying? Heavenly Ocean Tyranny, who was currently fighting against Long Chen, was in complete despair. He had assumed that with the help of the Black Snake Devil Sect, and the fact that he had reached the 15th level of life seizing, he would have long since surpassed Ling Xiao. However, at this moment he realized that he was really nothing. Ling Xiao had actually killed his father. That was a rebirth realm expert. The powerhouses of the mysterious snake sect were even more shocked. Ling Xiao really couldn't be allowed to live. They absolutely could not be allowed to live. This guy was too big of a threat. Back then, he had only taken first place in the White Tiger Storm meet. Now he could even kill a rebirth realm expert. Even in the Black Tortoise continent, there weren't many people with such terrifying talent. There's no need to hide. Come out and kill him. Kill that brat. The mysterious snake sect powerhouse roared. As his voice rang out, the sky in the distance tore open, and several figures appeared. There were 4 people in total, all of them rebirth realm experts of the mysterious snake sect. However, they weren't as strong as the one who had attacked first. These 4 had been hiding in the dark, ready to provide support at any time. After all, the mysterious snake sect was a sect from the Black Tortoise continent. If they did something like this in the White Tiger continent, the other sects from the Black Tortoise continent wouldn't just stand by and watch. These 4 were in charge of keeping watch. However, at this moment, the mysterious snake sect powerhouse sensed that Ling Xiao was a terrifying threat. So he ordered these four to come out and kill Ling Xiao. Enough! How dare a sect from the Black Tortoise continent commit crimes in the White Tiger continent? Who gave you the guts? At this moment, more people came from afar. Even Ling Xiao was a little surprised by the people who came this time. Brother Ling, I'm here. It was Fan Ruohai, not only him, but also the 3 rebirth realm experts behind him. I'm here too. Another group of people rushed over. It was Ji Qing. Although he was alone, his rebirth realm cultivation gave him the qualifications to interfere in today's matter. Ling Xiao looked at Fan Ruohai and Ji Qing. There was some emotion in his originally cold gaze. It didn't matter what Ji Qing and the Fan family's intentions were. At this juncture, their arrival was a sign of their support for him, a sign of their loyalty. Ling Xiao thanked them. One had to know that coming at this time meant that they might be killed. Many thanks to the 2 of you. Ling Xiao wanted to express his gratitude, but the demonic aura made him extremely cold. Even his words of thanks were a little cold. What's there to thank? You've saved me more than once. Moreover, our Fan family helping you is also beneficial to us. There's nothing to say. Fan Ruohai smiled. That's right. My daughter has also been saved by you many times. Moreover, thanks to you, she was able to join the 9 Heavens Palace. How can I, Ji Qing, ignore your matters? Ji Qing also said, Moreover, you, Ling Xiao, are a top member of our Heavenly Dragon Trading Company. If even you can't be protected, how can our Heavenly Dragon Trading Company do business? How can we make others believe in our strength? As they spoke, another 3 figures appeared. They were all rebirth realm experts of the Heavenly Dragon Trading Company. In today's battle, it was very difficult for cultivators below the rebirth realm to interfere, so Ji Qing and Fan Ruohai didn't bring them. They only brought rebirth realm experts. I'm sorry, Brother Fan. I killed the Emperor of the Heavenly Sea Empire, causing you to lose the chance to take revenge. Ling Xiao looked at Fan Ruohai and said, Ha ha ha, what are you saying? The Emperor of the Heavenly Sea Empire is dead, and so many people of the Heavenly Sea Empire's imperial family are dead. Isn't it easy for me to take revenge? Fan Ruohai laughed. Good brother. Ling Xiao took a deep breath, looked at the expert of the mystic snake demon sect, and said, The strength of the Black Tortoise continent's cultivators should be greatly reduced after coming to the White Tiger continent. I will make you regret coming here. You won't be able to display your full strength and then die here. While Ling Xiao was speaking, Qin Zhan had already met up with his army and then directly charged towards the direction of the Heavenly Sea City. Along the way, the Heavenly Sea Empire's army that tried to stop them were all annihilated. Qin Zhan used this kind of slaughter to vent the dissatisfaction and protest in his heart. He was cautious and conscientious, loyal and devoted for dozens of years, but in the end, all he got in return was the tragic death of his entire family. He planned to kill everyone of the imperial family, not leaving a single one alive. Just as his army was advancing, the Heavenly Dynasty's army had also landed. Chapter 2071. In the sky, airships were densely packed. On the ground, the combat golems marched forward. To the Tianhai Empire, this was truly a disaster. Their king was dead, and their crown prince was entangled. They had set a trap for Ling Xiao, but in the end, they had suffered heavy losses. After entering the Sky Sea Empire, the Celestial Empire's army split into 3 groups. The first group continued forward, planning to meet up with Qin Zhan's army as soon as possible. The second group attacked the Silver Fox Empire. The third group attacked the White Tiger Empire. The Tiger King, the Queen of Green Hill, and the Sky Sea King had all died. When they left, they took the heads of these 3 people with them. They wanted to use these heads to intimidate the armies of the 3 empires. Now that the 3 empires no longer had rebirth realm experts, the Life Seizers were the backbone of their forces. The martial artists of Nine Heavens Palace had already met up with the three armies, and the life Caesars would be dealt with by them. As for the number of troops, that was even less of a concern. After Ling Xiao unified the Dragon Phoenix continent, his army was made up of martial artists from the Sacred Dynasty, the Divine Phoenix Empire, the Black Crow Empire, and hundreds of subordinate countries. Purely in terms of numbers, it was much more than the three empires combined. Therefore, Ling Xiao didn't need to worry about that. What he needed to do now was to deal with the matter at hand. If he couldn't destroy the Black Snake sect, then no matter how many troops he had, it would be meaningless. In the end, he would still suffer a crushing defeat. Go, the leader of the Mystic Snake Devil Sect experts ordered. 4 Rebirth realm martial artists clashed with the Heavenly Dragon Trading Company and the Fan Clan's Rebirth realm martial artists. Terrifying shockwaves exploded in the air. A battle between Rebirth realm martial artists was still as thrilling as ever. At this moment, the angriest and most depressed person was probably Heavenly Sea Tyranny. He had set up the 5-poison absolute death array in an attempt to ruin Ling Xiao's plan. He wanted Ling Xiao to die in Sea-Watch City, but reality had given him a hard slap. The depressed one wasn't Ling Xiao, but him. Right now, he wanted to kill Long Qin as quickly as possible, then find a way to escape. Where there's life, there's hope. However, he was being suppressed by Long Qin, and his body was already injured in many places. He simply could not believe that he would be suppressed by Ling Xiao's underlings like this. He became more and more depressed and anxious. Ling Xiao looked at the Mystic Snake sect experts in the sky and focused on controlling the Human King Cauldron. The Human Emperor Cauldron was the only thing he could rely on at the moment. He didn't want to be completely devoured by the demonic qi, so he wanted to release it slowly and then control it bit by bit. The Human King Cauldron was used to stall for time. It was only a matter of time before the Mystic Snake Devil Sect's experts repelled the Human King Cauldron. After all, a magic treasure was just a magic treasure. No matter how strong it was, it couldn't be compared to a real martial artist. What's more, Ling Xiao was still unable to unleash the full power of this magic treasure. In the void, a pair of eyes coldly looked over, and a cold smile appeared on his face. If Ling Xiao could see this person, he would definitely be able to recognize this person. He was none other than His Highness from the Black Tortoise Temple. The Black Tortoise Temple's people died in battle, but he didn't make a move. When Righteous Sect's people were defeated by the Moon Lady, he didn't make a move. Even the Heavenly Dragon Trading Company and the Fan family's people were attracted by him. Why? Of course, it was to make the situation even more chaotic. He would only be happy if these people died. He also wanted Ling Xiao to die, but as an ambitious person, he was calm enough. Help His Highness the Crown Prince and the Pope destroy those guys. Vice Pope Qin had been watching the situation from the side. Although he was injured, his injuries were relatively light. He saw Qin Zhan and the others leave, and then saw Heavenly Sea Tyranny and Ling Xian fall into a stalemate, and even at a disadvantage. His thoughts turned. He still had so many demon, crocodile guards, and heavenly demon cult members on his side. If he didn't use it now, then when? Yes. Hundreds of demon crocodile guards and heavenly demon cult martial artists moved. They couldn't deal with Rebirth realm martial artists. Even if they were injured, they couldn't deal with them. But to Long Chen, Cold Plum, Jiluoyu, Feng Minglian, and the others, they were a threat. However, the moment they moved, it meant that they couldn't escape death. A cold and terrifying aura fell from the sky. Black and purple flames suddenly ignited on the ground. They looked up at the sky in horror. Above Ling Xiao's head, a huge eye that looked like flames floated there. Burning Heaven Eye, Hell Dragon Fire. The purple-black Hell Dragon Fire instantly swallowed all of the demon crocodile guards and heavenly demon cult members. The terrifying flames began to burn. Mournful screams rose and fell. These screams made the hearts of those who hadn't died tremble. Vice Pope Chen watched this scene in horror, his body constantly retreating. How could Ling Xiao be so strong? With just a glance, everyone was burned to death except for him. Except for him who hadn't participated in the attack, so he survived. Everyone else had died, and in such a miserable manner. Vice Pope Chen's entire body trembled like a sieve. He thought that he was the vice pope of the heavenly demon cult, that he didn't fear demonic energy. But today he discovered that he was wrong, and very wrong at that. Ling Xiao was a true demon, a true monster, a monster that could make him completely collapse. You can go die too. Ling Xiao coldly glanced at Vice Pope Chin. Although this person was working for heavenly sea tyranny, he had laid down the 5-poison absolute kill ray and killed hundreds of thousands of Sea-Watch City citizens. Let alone dying once. Even dying 1,000 times wouldn't be enough. The huge eye in the sky looked at Vice Pope Chin. In that instant, purple-black flames ignited on Vice Pope Chen's body, but they didn't immediately kill him. If he was killed in an instant, that would be letting him off too easily. Ling Xiao wanted him to understand that he had to pay a price for everything he did. Vice Pope Chin frantically rolled on the ground, screaming, but no one could save him. His life was completely in Ling Xiao's hands. He could only watch as his body was swallowed by the flames bit by bit, enduring the most painful torture. He was burned alive in purgatory. And you? Ling Xiao walked towards Righteous Sect Master, Taoist One Eyebrow. If not for this guy, Moon Lady wouldn't have been so easily beaten back to her original form, and the mysterious snake sex experts wouldn't have been able to mount a sneak attack. Taoist One Eyebrow leaned against a tree, his entire body covered in blood. He was almost unable to move. At this moment, Ling Xiao walked towards him, his eyes filled with fear. Taoist One Eyebrow, you didn't have to die, and you could have controlled the entire White Tiger continent. But you made a mistake. When I wanted to withdraw, you didn't agree, and you wanted to use my friend's life to threaten me. Now, you can regret it in endless pain. Ling Xiao waved his hand, and black flames ignited on Taoist One Eyebrow's body. Chapter 2072. Ha ha ha, Ling Xiao, this poor Taoist admits that he lost today, but you can't kill this poor Taoist. Taoist One Eyebrows laughed. This poor Taoist is the representative chosen by the heavenly court continent's exalted immortals. My body is protected by the exalted immortals' immortal power. No matter how much you hate me, you can't kill me. Are you depressed? Ling Xiao looked coldly at Taoist One Eyebrows, the corners of his mouth raised in a mocking smile. I can even devour the heavenly mandate, divine light. Do you really think I can't deal with a mere exalted immortal's immortal power? At that moment, a huge beast crawled out from behind Ling Xiao. The Tao Tai let out a soul-stirring roar and swallowed Taoist One Eyebrows alive. The Tao Tai can even devour the star world. Who do you think you are? Even if my Tao Tai martial soul hasn't matured yet, it's enough to deal with you. Ling Xiao's cold voice sounded. Taoist One Eyebrows found himself in a pitch-black and vast universe. He was horrified to find that in this universe, the immortal power in his body actually began to fear him. What is this place? He yelled loudly. His body gradually melted. I'll let you die with understanding. Hasn't your Jingyi school been looking for the possessor of the mountain and river martial soul? I can tell you now, I've already obtained the mountain and river martial soul. Ling Xiao's voice became the last thing Taoist One Eyebrows heard in this world. His body was crushed, and finally turned into cosmic dust. His power completely merged with the universe. The tyrant martial soul seemed to have grown a little and become even more powerful. While Ling Xiao was dealing with Taoist One Eyebrows, in the sky, the battle between the experts of the mystic snake demon sect, Ji Qing and the Fan family had already entered a white-hot stage. Terrifying rumbling sounds constantly collided and exploded in the void. There were elements of destruction everywhere. Heavenly Dragon Trading Company. Do you really want to become enemies with my mystic snake demon sect? Don't forget, You've always wanted to open a branch in the western region of the Black Tortoise continent, but we rejected it. If you can give up on becoming enemies with us this time, our Mystic Snake Demon Sect can let your Heavenly Dragon Trading Company open a branch there. The leader of the Mystic Snake Sect's experts was extremely anxious. He couldn't deal with the human king cauldron in such a short time. Seeing Ling Xiao kill the heavily injured Taoist One Eyebrow, he became even more anxious. Although this fellow Ling Xiao's cultivation wasn't high enough, he had too many crooked methods. As long as he was given the chance, he could even kill a rebirth realm cultivator. Therefore, he had to be careful. Don't try to bewitch people here. Not to mention that I, Ji Qing, have a good relationship with Ling Xiao. Even if there wasn't any relationship, if I had to choose between you and Ling Xiao, I would naturally still choose him. Your Mystic Snake Devil Sect has offended this little ancestor. Sooner or later, you'll be finished. Our Heavenly Dragon Trading Company doesn't want to die with you. Ji Qing coldly snorted. What about your fan family? Don't tell me you want me to accompany Ling Xiao in his burial? The leader of the Mystic Snake Devil Sect roared. Even if you kill all of us here today, you've offended the Mystic Snake Devil Sect. Do you think your fan family still has a way out? Take care of your own matters first. You can't even protect yourself. Yet you still want to instigate our fan family? Fan Ruahai sneered. You idiots of the Mystic Snake Devil Sect really don't have any foresight. You actually chose that idiot Tianhai tyranny. Although his talent isn't bad, compared to Ling Xiao, he's worlds apart. If you offend Ling Xiao because of him, your entire Mystic Snake Devil Sect will be implicated. Good. Very good. Are you all willing to accompany that Ling Xiao to his death? Kill them, don't hold back. The leader of the Mystic Snake Devil Sect's experts failed to sow discord. Helpless, he could only focus on dealing with the human king cauldron, hoping to destroy it as soon as possible so that he could participate in the battle. His battle strength was the strongest among them. As long as he was here, eliminating Ling Xiao's group would be as easy as flipping his hand. He obviously knew that Ling Xiao's talent and potential were greater than Tianhai tyranny's, but Ling Xiao wasn't one of his people. Tianhai tyranny was a core disciple of the Mystic Snake Devil Sect. He had to support Tianhai tyranny, even if it meant becoming an enemy of Ling Xiao. What's more, if they couldn't recruit someone like Ling Xiao with the Mystic Snake Devil Sect style, they would naturally kill him. Otherwise, he would become a great enemy in the future. Kill. It's best if we all die together. That way, the White Tiger continent will be mine. His Highness's eyes were filled with madness and excitement. Today's chaos was most likely related to him. Whether it was Ling Xiao or the Mystic Snake Devil Sect, it was best if they all died. That would be the most beneficial to him. At this moment, Ling Xiao closed his eyes, refining the immortal energy in Taoist One Eyebrow's body. It had to be, he said, that this immortal energy was truly powerful. It was still stubbornly resisting the constant bombardment of his tyrannical universe. But how could he be stumped by this mere immortal energy? Kill. Suddenly, a black sword aura rose from the ground, piercing the arm of a rebirth realm expert from the Mystic Snake Devil Sect. That Mystic Snake Devil Sect expert didn't have time to react. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning fell from the sky, blasting him to the ground. In the end, his head was cut off by the black sword aura. It turned out that after a round of treatment, 9 Heavens Dream, 9 Heavens Dew, and Liquor Demon's sword had recovered. The reason why they could recover so quickly was simple. Ling Xiao's healing pills were simply too useful. In addition, Ling Xiao had created the best conditions for them to recover, together with the miraculous effects of the Holy Monarch Eye. It was only natural that he would do so. The moment they recovered, they worked together to kill a rebirth realm expert from the Mystic Snake Devil Sect. However, when they tried to deal with the others, a terrifying spatial vibration sounded. Everyone looked up at the sky. Of course, it's the people who came to kill Ling Xiao. The voice was crisp and clear. It clearly sounded like a woman's voice. Nine Heaven's Dream recognized their attire. They were the Linglong envoys from the Linglong Palace. Oh no, the Linglong Palace has joined the battle too. They'd thought that after the Liquor Demon's sword, Nine Heaven's Dream, and Nine Heaven's Dew had recovered, they'd be able to quickly finish off the Mystic Snake Devil Sect and obtain complete victory. Who knew that the Linglong Palace would suddenly attack? This was going to be a little troublesome. The Mystic Snake Devil Sect and the Linglong Palace weren't something they could deal with. Fan Family and Sky Dragon Trading Company, get lost. The Linglong Palace doesn't want to be enemies with businessmen like you. Don't choose the wrong path. Otherwise, you'll regret it later. The Linglong envoys from the Linglong Palace were extremely arrogant after they appeared. They were even more arrogant than the Mystic Snake Devil Sect. Chapter 2073. Eldest Young Master, let's go. It's not worth offending both Mysterious Snake Sect and Linglong Palace for Ling Xiao. The appearance of Linglong Palace's experts made the Fan family's experts fearful. They began to doubt whether Ling Xiao could really survive. If Ling Xiao was destined to die, why would they help Ling Xiao fight? They were different from Fan Ruohai. They only helped Ling Xiao for the sake of benefits. They couldn't sacrifice everything for someone who was destined to die. That didn't make sense. If you want to scram, then scram. A bunch of cowards. I, Fan Ruohai, will never abandon my brothers. Even if I die in battle, I won't regret it. Fan Ruohai used to be someone who was good at using others, but Ling Xiao changed him. No, it could be said that Fan Ruohai only changed for Ling Xiao. In his eyes, everyone else was still someone he could use. Forget it. If Eldest Young Master doesn't leave, how can we abandon him? I hope Eldest Young Master made the right bet. The Fan family could choose not to fight for Ling Xiao, but they couldn't let Fan Ruohai die. Fan Ruohai was the hope of the Fan family. With Fan Ruohai, the Fan family could rise again. Even if they died, Fan Ruohai couldn't die. I didn't expect the Fan family's kid to have such backbone. Then let's fight together. Even if you die, don't regret it. Ji Qing laughed loudly and said, Ling Xiao, you listen up. You absolutely can't die. If I die in battle, my daughter will be handed to you. What a bunch of idiots. What do you think, Mysterious Snake Sex people? Do you want to work together? Linglong Palace's expert looked at the Mysterious Snake Sex expert leader and asked. Of course. The Mysterious Snake Sect had only sent 5 people this time. They were at a disadvantage in terms of numbers. He didn't ask for too much. As long as he could protect Heavenly Ocean Tyranny and kill Ling Xiao, that would be enough. Good. Great minds think alike. Linglong Palace sent 10 people, all of them Rebirth Realm experts. Their numbers and overall strength were about the same as Jingyi School's 12 spiritual masters. Unfortunately, Ling Xiao didn't have a moon lady with him this time. The remaining people were no match for Linglong Palace and Black Snake Demon Sect. Even if they fought to the death, they would still die. It could even be said that if nothing else happened, all of Ling Xiao's men would die. However, even then, these Rebirth Realm experts didn't choose to abandon Ling Xiao even though they were clearly aware that they would die. The Demon Wine Sword, Nine Heaven's Dream, Nine Heaven's Dew, Ji Qing, as well as several experts from the Heavenly Dragon Trading Company and the Fan family. They all stayed behind. Although the reasons were different, it was directly related to what Ling Xiao had done in the past. Ling Xiao had many enemies, but at the same time he also had many friends. It could be said that there were as many people who loved him as there were people who hated him. He had always been a person who made a clear distinction between love and hate and did things his own way. He was half immortal and half devil. Brother Fan, take your people and leave. Go back and take charge of the situation. My heavenly empire needs the support of your Fan family. Senior Ji Qing, take Luoyu and leave first. If there's nothing else in the future, send her to Nine Heaven Palace. Our army supplies can't be lacking the support of your Heavenly Dragon Trading Company. Ling Xiao's sudden words were incomprehensible to everyone. They were clearly at a disadvantage. But Ling Xiao still wanted these two groups of people to leave. What was he trying to do? In fact, even His Highness in the dark didn't understand the reason. He was very confused. Could it be that Ling Xiao really thought that after entering the demonic state, he could rely on his own strength to fight against so many experts? Too laughable. Too absurd. Why? Fan Ruohai and Ji Qing asked at the same time. Don't ask me why. In short, don't worry, I'm not going to die. I'll remember your kindness in my heart. Ling Xiao felt very helpless. He knew very well that once he completely entered the demonic state, he wouldn't recognize anyone. Perhaps everything here would be destroyed by him. He didn't want to hurt those who were sincerely willing to help him. So the others had to leave. Palace Master, Sister Lu, you should leave too. Take Feng Minglian MOU, Zhu Xiaotsong Long Chen and Cold Plum to destroy the Jingyi school. I want to completely destroy this sanctimonious sect. There's also the Heavenly Demon sect. Their nest is on the Demon Mountain. There's also the Nightman clan. Subdue them. If they don't obey, kill them all. With the lesson of the sea race, Ling Xiao's handling of the Nightman clan became very decisive and iron-blooded. If anyone dared to disobey, they would be destroyed to avoid civil strife in the future. Senior Liquor Demon Sword, I want you to protect my senior brother Wu Xiang. He's the emperor of the Heavenly Empire. He absolutely can't die. Ling Xiao continued. He had arranged for all the people who could help him to leave. He didn't leave a single one behind. He clearly intended to fight alone here and solve the rest of the problem by himself. But Long Chen was about to say something, but he was interrupted by Ling Xiao's roar. Leave. Anyone who doesn't leave is someone who doesn't treat me, Ling Xiao, as a friend. I'm going to kill him now, so that he won't be sad later. That kid's crazy. He's letting his people leave. Is he going to stay here and die alone? The people of the Ling Long Palace and the Mystic Snake Demon sect were very confused. They couldn't figure it out no matter how hard they tried. They thought that Ling Xiao was simply crazy. Leave. Liquor Demon Sword gave Zhu Tianmeng a look. He knew Ling Xiao's personality all too well. If Ling Xiao wanted to do something, no one could stop him. So rather than wasting time here, it was better to leave first and watch from afar to see what Ling Xiao wanted to do. This way, they could complete Ling Xiao's request. They could help Ling Xiao. 2 birds with 1 stone. Everyone was smart. The Wine Demon Sword's gaze immediately made everyone understand what he was thinking. Then they turned to leave. You think you can leave? Do you really think we're here to watch the show? Liquor Demon Sword and the rest wanted to leave, but the people of the Ling Long Palace didn't allow them to. Demonization. Shield of Earth. The pitch-black shield of Earth suddenly appeared between the 2 sides and rapidly expanded until it covered the entire battlefield, separating the 2 sides. Leave. Ling Xiao roared at Liquor Demon Sword and the rest. At this moment, Ling Xiao's body surged with an uncontrollable killing intent. Even he found it hard to control this killing intent. So now he only wanted his people to leave. No matter what happened next, he didn't care. Even if this place became purgatory, he didn't care. Liquor Demon Sword and the rest hid a few hundred miles away. Zhu Tianmeng waved his hand, and a screen with lightning appeared in front of everyone. All the changes on the battlefield appeared. On the battlefield, the leader of the Ling Long Palaces, Ling Long Envoy, looked coldly at Ling Xiao. However, there was a strange look in his eyes. Ling Xiao, when we came here, the palace master said that as long as you're willing to join the Ling Long Palace, we can let bygones be bygones. Chapter 2074. How generous. You can let bygones be bygones, but I can't. Ling Xiao's eyes were cold, and a terrifying black aura was rising from his silver pupils. I've said it before. From the moment your people attacked me, you were doomed to a nightmare of destruction. Not only will I kill you, but I will also trample Linglong Palace under my feet. Good. Very good. Kid, we gave you a chance, but you didn't take it seriously. You won't be able to bear the consequences The leader of the Linglong envoys looked at Ling Xiao coldly and disdainfully, releasing a shocking killing intent. All the major forces were like this. Those who followed them would prosper, and those who opposed them would perish. In fact, Ling Xiao was the same. There was no right or wrong. Ling Xiao had thought of this long ago. Everything depended on strength. If you were strong enough, no one would dare to provoke you. Now that the other party wanted him dead, he wanted them dead too. Whoever was stronger would be the winner. The logic was that simple. In the distance, the wine demon's sword thought of Ji Lingyue's experience and sighed. Geniuses will always be envied. His sister Ji Lingyue was killed, but luckily she managed to escape. But in the end, she couldn't go against fate and had to join a force she didn't want to join in order to protect herself. Ling Xiao's talent and aptitude aren't any worse than his sister's. Naturally, he will be envied. It seems like it's time for him to find a major force to back him up. That's a matter for the future. Today, what will Ling Xiao do? Jiu Tian frowned. She really hated herself for not being able to protect the successor of the Nine Heavens Palace. She was too useless. Let's wait a little longer. Maybe he really has a way. Jiu Tiandu was still delusional. She felt that Ling Xiao wasn't such an impulsive person. Since he asked them to leave, he must have thought of a way to deal with those people. They continued to observe the situation at the scene. Ling Xiao was curious why these people from Linglong Palace weren't in a hurry to kill him. After a while, he understood. In the void, a few more people came. Of course, he knew the one in the lead. It was the crown prince of the Black Tortoise Temple. He was only familiar with the sect master of the Heavenly Wolf sect. The rest of the people were strangers to him. Let me introduce you to the sect master of the Heavenly Wolf sect. The remaining four are the representatives of the Tianhai Empire, the Silver Fox Empire, the White Tiger Empire, and the Jingyi School. Since their leader had died in battle, they were fully in charge of the affairs of their respective forces. As for this young man, he is a genius that our Linglong Palace has put in a lot of effort to nurture. You can call him His Highness. Oh no, just call him the White Tiger Sovereign King. He will be the monarch of the entire White Tiger continent. The leader of the Linglong Palace's Linglong envoys' words made the mystic snake devil sect's people's faces turn ugly. After we deal with Ling Xiao, we will announce it to the world. An indifferent smile appeared on His Highness's face, as if everything was under his control. This White Tiger Sovereign King was definitely not his end. His goal was very clear. First, he would sit on the throne of the White Tiger Sovereign King. Then, he would think of a way to gather all the resources of the White Tiger continent to help his cultivation. Then he would create a powerful guard that belonged to him. Then he would fight for the hegemony of the Black Tortoise continent. From the day he joined the Black Tortoise Temple, this idea had already begun. After 10 years of hard work, he was finally about to realize his dream. Moreover, he was very excited to see the major forces being toyed with in the palm of his hand. The stupid Linglong Palace was just a toy in the palm of his hand. Sooner or later, they would have to listen to him. Seeing His Highness's indifferent smile, Heavenly Ocean Tyranny's face turned ugly. Because Long Qin and Cold Plum had retreated, he and Ling Xian had also escaped from the battle. He was a core disciple of the mystic snake devil sect. He also had ambitions and ambitions. However, he didn't expect that everything would be calculated by this unfamiliar His Highness. This His Highness wasn't very famous in the White Tiger continent. In these 10 years, he was almost completely immersed in cultivation. Only the Black Tortoise Temple and the 4 great families of the myriad lightning extreme ground knew how terrifying he was. This kind of person was too good at enduring. Haha, someone who lost to me actually wants to be king of the White Tiger continent. How laughable! Your mystic snake devil sect and Linglong Palace are really pitiful. One chose Heavenly Ocean Tyranny, the other chose His Highness. However, both of them lost to me. No wonder you can't wait to kill me. Ling Xiao's smile was cold and eerie. Although he wanted to smile more gently, The demonic energy that was constantly released from his forehead made him look more and more like a demon. A real demon. The mystic snake devil sex expert said coldly, "Linglong Palace, I'm afraid it's not appropriate for you to do this. Heavenly Ocean Tyranny is one of the best in terms of talent and strength among the younger generation. Of course, that Ling Xiao is an exception. In any case, he's going to die soon. How can the king of the White Tiger continent be trifled with? You say that His Highness is suitable, but is he really suitable? Ha ha ha, outstanding strength? The future king of the White Tiger continent. Let this mystic snake devil sect expert see how easily you defeated Heavenly Ocean Tyranny." The Ling Long Palace's Ling Long envoy laughed coldly. "Understood." His Highness casually pointed, and a terrifying force broke through the air. Heavenly Ocean Tyranny circulated all of his internal strength and used the double-faced Buddha to block, but he was still easily sent flying, suffering heavy injuries. Rebirth Realm Cultivation. The leader of the Mystic Snake Sex experts frowned. He didn't say anything. Although Heavenly Ocean Tyranny and His Highness were a few years apart in age, this wasn't a reason. It was clear that the one who had the qualifications to sit on the throne of the White Tiger continent wasn't Heavenly Ocean Tyranny, but His Highness. Forget it. He does have the qualifications to become the White Tiger King. I agree. After the Mystic Snake Devil Sect expert finished speaking, he finally sent the Human Emperor Cauldron flying with a punch. The Human Emperor Cauldron, which had bitterly blocked the attacks for Ling Xiao for so long, finally returned to his spiritual sea to rest. Good. As the future king of the White Tiger continent, I will now eliminate this daring Ling Xiao for you. His Highness looked at Ling Xiao and said coldly, "I must admit, your talent is truly unique. Even I can't compare to you, but you're too fond of seeking death. Facing Ling Long Palace and the Mystic Snake Devil sect alone, do you really think you have a way out? After I kill you, those people you sent to the White Tiger continent will all die one by one. Don't worry, you won't be alone on the road to the Yellow Springs." His Highness walked towards Ling Xiao in the air, exuding a cold, cruel, and murderous intent. He wanted Ling Xiao to die here, so as to dispel the hatred in his heart. Mystic Snake Devil Sect, Ling Long Palace, and Heavenly Ocean Tyranny, His Highness, Sky Wolf Sect, and the other 4 major powers. Very good. Chapter 2075. Ling Xiao's expression was so calm. His aura was also so indifferent. There was even a moment when people mistakenly thought that he was going to resolve today's matter peacefully. However, in the next moment, the black wings on his back suddenly released a black gas. It continuously danced in the void. The entire world that was enveloped by the demonized shield of earth was filled with bone-piercing cold winds. The dense demonic aura seemed to want to devour everyone. I'm afraid you haven't seen what a real demon looks like, right? Today, I'll let you experience the true fear of death. Do you know why I asked my people to leave? It's because once I become a demon, no one can stop me. I'll kill everything in front of me. Ling Xiao's aura was still rising. In the sky, the black demonic clouds were constantly rolling and jumping. There were even black lightning that continuously struck the vast land, causing everything to become depraved and terrifying. Between heaven and earth, there were ghostly wails and howls. The sealed demons were about to break the seal and revive. This guy, what's going on? His Highness suddenly took a few steps back, his expression extremely ugly. This demonic aura was too terrifying. It was to the extent that even a rebirth realm warrior like him felt fear. He originally wanted to kill Ling Xiao, but he was frightened by Ling Xiao's terrifying aura. Ling Xiao gently touched the pendant in his pocket. The Moon Lady, who had turned into moonlight, was lying there quietly as if she was asleep. "Sister Moon Lady, for you, I'm willing to turn into a demon. I'll definitely make these people pay with their blood." Ling Xiao's voice wasn't loud, but in the ears of the enemy, it was very unsettling. Seal, open! Immediately Ling Xiao roared. A terrifying black light shot out from between his eyebrows. Then, a terrifying demon king appeared in front of Ling Xiao. He was the demon king of the first heaven who formed the Night Demon King. What's that? The leader of the Linglong envoys asked in shock. The demon king of the first heaven. Not good. Quickly kill him, quickly. Tyranny Heavenly Ocean recognized the Night Devil King and knew how terrifying the Night Devil King was. He never would have dreamed that Ling Xiao would actually seal the Night Devil King inside his body. How did he do it? It was simply unbelievable. The people from the Linglong Palace and the Mystic Snake Demon sect were still confused. 7 more beams of black light shot out from Ling Xiao's glabella. The demon kings of the first heaven to the 7th heaven were all released. The 7 celestial demon kings, who were surrounded by surging demonic qi, were filled with hostility and killing intent. It was as if they wanted to destroy the world in an instant. Ha ha ha, he's out, he's finally out. Brat, you dare to let us out? You're dead. Don't kill him yet. This brat's body is a good thing. Since he wants to turn into a devil, let's fulfill his wish. Then, we'll destroy those trash and use this brat's body to cause havoc in the profound world. Yes, 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 that's how it should be. He. After the 7 celestial demon kings were released from their seals, they really wanted to kill Ling Xiao. However, they quickly reached a consensus. That was, they wanted to take over Ling Xiao's body. Ling Xiao's physical body was really too strong. This was a secret that the Night Devil King had discovered when he tried to take over Ling Xiao's body. Unfortunately, the Night Devil King encountered the Sky Tyrant Martial Spirit and had his seal broken. However, the 7 celestial demon kings didn't seem to have completely inherited the Night Devil King's memories. They had forgotten the fear of being sealed. Or rather, they had forgotten what they had been sealed by. They even tried to take over Ling Xiao's body. Boom! The 7 celestial demon kings released their terrifying demonic qi at almost the same time. The area within a radius of several hundred li was instantly covered by a black curtain. This was the true end of the world. The true demonic sky. Martial artists who weren't strong enough didn't even have the strength to stand up. Feng Minglian and Ji Luoyu were still trembling under the protection of several rebirth realm experts. It was as if their souls were about to be extracted. Father, what do you think happened to Big Brother Ling? He'll be fine, right? Ji Luoyu asked her father, Ji Qing, in fear. Ji Qing sighed. He didn't know either. At this moment, it was clear that Ling Xiao was prepared to hand everything over to these 7 celestial demon kings. He was really going to make a deal with the demons. However, he didn't know how great the price of this deal would be. Or rather, no one knew at all. They were relatively far away, but they could already feel the terror, clearly. And Tianhai Tyranny and Ling Xian, who were near Ling Xiao, directly fell to the ground. Their bodies trembled violently, and they found it difficult to breathe. It was as if their souls were no longer under their control. They felt as if their lives were going to be devoured by these evil demons, and then they would die here. The rebirth realm experts were also stunned. Speaking of which, the White Tiger continent could only accommodate low-level rebirth realm experts. In other words, their cultivation could at most reach the 3rd level of the rebirth realm, or 3 reincarnations. Currently, the 2 strongest people were the leader of the Mystic Snake Devil sect and the leader of the Linglong Palace. They were both at the 3rd level of the rebirth realm. Moon Lady was at the 2nd level of the rebirth realm. The rest of the experts were at the 1st level of the rebirth realm, but there were differences in strength. For example, Taoist Ime, 9 Heavens Dream, and Mysterious Underworld were the strongest existences at the 1st level of the rebirth realm. But even so, all the surviving rebirth realm experts had to bow their heads in front of the 7 celestial demon kings. That's right, the White Tiger continent had its own laws of strength. The peak strength could not exceed the 3rd level of the rebirth realm. However, things from other planes were not bound by these laws. For example, the 7 celestial demon kings. The terrifying power they unleashed caused the mysterious snake demon sex leader and the Ling Long envoy of the Ling Long Palace to become extremely terrified. These were 7 living beings from the demon world. Tyranny Tianhai was the most terrified. In the past, when he and his father worked together with the Night Demon King, they had to be careful and listen to his orders like slaves. One day, they suddenly heard that the Night Demon King had disappeared. They couldn't find him. At first, they didn't think that this matter had anything to do with Ling Xiao. After all, Ling Xiao's cultivation was still very weak at the time. It was impossible for him to defeat the Night Demon King. Even today, Ling Xiao still couldn't do it. But who would have thought that the terrifying Night Demon King was actually sealed in Ling Xiao's body? It was just that it had been scattered and turned into the 7 celestial demon kings. He can't control the 7 celestial demon kings. Kill him quickly, or we won't have another chance. Tyranny Tianhai desperately raised his head and said. His voice was terrified and hoarse, filled with anxiety. In fact, even without him saying it, the Rebirth Realm experts understood that Ling Xiao couldn't control the 7 celestial demon kings. Then they would take over his body. Chapter 2076. What the Rebirth Realm experts were worried about was that once the Night Devil King got his fleshly body, he would be able to unleash his true power. When that happened, nobody would be able to stop him. Kill him. The experts from the Miraculous Palace and the Black Snake Devil sect attacked at almost the same time, sending a dozen or so streams of terrifying energy toward Ling Xiao. Any one of those streams of energy could easily kill Ling Xiao. After all, Ling Xiao was only in the 16th stage of life seizing. His true strength wasn't enough to stand up to any of these people. Of course, Ling Xiao had long since considered that possibility. This time he didn't resist becoming bedeviled. Stop their attacks, or I'll self-detonate, Ling Xiao said, looking coldly at the 7 heavenly devil kings. He was threatening them with his own life. You've got guts, boy. The 7 heavenly devil kings exchanged glances, then attacked at the same time. Terrifying black streams of energy shot out, blocking the attacks of the Rebirth Realm experts. In order to get their hands on Ling Xiao's body, the 7 heavenly devil kings had to protect Ling Xiao. Otherwise, if Ling Xiao were to die, he would have to search for that almost perfect body again. 7 devils combine, Night Devil King is born. In the instant that the Rebirth Realm experts were pushed back, the 7 heavenly devil kings chose to combine into one, becoming the mighty Night Devil King. If they wanted to take over Ling Xiao's body, they had to do so. Their souls had to be fused into one. Otherwise, if each heavenly devil king tried to take over, it would be impossible to succeed. Ling Xiao's lips twisted into a cold smile. Up until now, the other 6 heavenly devil kings had no idea that Yang Qi had taken complete control of the first heavenly devil king. In other words, the Night Devil King's soul was imprinted with Ling Xiao's imprint. Although Yang Qi didn't know what that imprint could do, it was very important if he wanted to take back his own consciousness. Although Ling Xiao was about to become bedeviled, he didn't want to be completely controlled by the wretch devil. He wanted to leave himself an opportunity to recover. Rumble. The 7 demons merged into one, and the Night Demon King was born. The terrifying demonic light soared into the sky, piercing a huge hole in the shield of earth and completely enveloping the crimson sun in the sky. Between heaven and earth, it became even darker, as if the entire pitch-black sky was about to fall. The 7 great heavenly devil kings merged into one, transforming into the terrifying Night Devil King. The Night Devil King was the ruler of the night, the Devil King of the darkness. Its entire body was pitch black, and boiling hot lava was flowing out of its mouth. It looked ferocious and terrifying. Ling Xiao threw himself into the Night Devil King's body. In that instant, the Night Devil King's pupils turned silver. Ling Xiao temporarily began to control this terrifying Devil King. However, he could also feel that the endless demonic intent was corroding his soul realm, wearing down his will and trying to devour him. If it was in the past, Ling Xiao would have resisted. But today, Ling Xiao didn't do that. He allowed the demonic intent to invade his soul realm. His originally clear soul realm turned pitch black. At the same time, his killing intent became even denser. The current Ling Xiao, aside from retaining a little bit of his consciousness, had basically turned into a true devil king. Heartless, cold, cruel, and bloodthirsty. These weren't just empty words. This was a terrifying existence that wanted to destroy the world. His little bit of consciousness was the result of his negotiation with the Night Devil King. He needed this bit of consciousness to kill his enemies. After killing his enemies, he would be completely immersed in the demonic intent, turning into a Devil King. Roar! A terrifying roar came from Ling Xiao's mouth. He opened his Devil King's mouth, and a terrifying stream of lava gushed out, killing all the enemies in front of him. Since there was no one here, he could unleash his power without any restraint. Dodge! Those rebirth realm experts who wanted to attack Ling Xiao frantically dodged. Because they were strong enough, they understood how terrifying this stream of lava was. Rumble! In an instant, Linglong Palace lost 2 Linglong envoys. Ling Xian was also burned to ashes by the terrifying magma. At the moment of her death, she still wanted revenge. She schemed to cooperate with tyrannical Heavenly Ocean to kill Ling Xiao. But in the end, she died so easily at the hands of Ling Xiao. It was truly too regretful, too sullen, and too depressing. But no one had the time to sympathize with him. At this moment, everyone's fear of Ling Xiao had reached its peak. With just one attack, he easily killed 2 Rebirth Realm experts. This proved that Ling Xiao had completely turned into a Devil King. He was no longer that Ling Xiao, but the true Night Devil King. The boiling lava flowed on the ground, and all the trees within a radius of several hundred li were burned to ashes. Not even a blade of grass could be seen. This was the terror of the Night Devil King. This was the trump card Ling Xiao was most unwilling to use, but it was also his most powerful trump card. How can he be so terrifying? The martial practitioners of Ling Long Palace and Mystic Snake Devil Sect looked at the cold and indifferent Ling Xiao with trepidation. Dodging the scalding magma was a kind of luck, but if he didn't, he would definitely die. The lava was too terrifying. It was too terrifying. Of course, Tyranny Heavenly Seas was the most terrified of all. Although Ling Xiao didn't think much of a life-sizer like Tyranny Heavenly Seas, the lava that had spilled out of his mouth was still enough to nearly kill him. He scurried around in fear, trying to find a place to escape. He didn't want to die. He didn't want to die in such a cowardly manner. What are you afraid of? Kill. Join hands and kill him. He knows that we are enemies, which means that he hasn't completely transformed into the Night Devil King. We still have a chance. One of the Linglong envoys from the Linglong Palace shouted. What happened today was really too unexpected. They thought that victory was in their hands, that they had everything under control. However, the current situation was hard for them to accept. How could Ling Xiao have such a terrifying and ferocious thing sealed in his body? How strong was it? At the very least, it had to be a mid-level rebirth realm expert, right? A monster that even the laws couldn't bind. Ling Xiao's silver demonic eyes turned to the speaker, and a cold smile appeared on his face. His remaining consciousness could no longer control his attacks, but he could still recognize who the enemy was. Today, everyone here would die. Not a single one would be left alive. Ling Xiao, I know you still have your consciousness. I am the sect leader of the Heavenly Wolf sect. I have no intention of becoming your enemy. Please let me go. Yeah, and us too. The 3 of us were forced to come here. If we didn't come, they would have killed us. The representatives of the White Tiger Empire, Silver Fox Empire, Skycy Empire, and Righteous Sect all shouted in fear. They were already lucky that they hadn't been sprayed to death by the lava. Next time, their luck might not be so good. That was why they really hoped that Ling Xiao would let them go, even though what they said was a lie. Chapter 2077. The sect master of the Heavenly Wolf sect and the 4 representatives of the 4 great powers were lying. No one forced them. It was all their own will. The only reason he was lying now was to survive. Go to hell. However, Ling Xiao showed no mercy. A terrifying and cold voice came out of the Night Demon King's mouth. Then the huge demonic hand waved and slapped down on them. Rumble. The world seemed to be shaking. Terrifying black lightning kept falling from the sky. The sect master of the Heavenly Wolf sect, including the 4 representatives, cried out in fear, hoping that someone could help them, hoping that someone could save them. However, no one helped. Everyone was avoiding the demonic hand that covered the sky. They all hoped to avoid that terrifying attack. The 5 of them also wanted to avoid it, but there was no chance. Block it. The Sky Wolf sect master transformed into a huge wolf and roared at the sky. He waved his terrifying wolf claws to block the demonic hand. At the same time, Crocodile God, White Tiger, Silver Fox, and a huge sword raised their hands. The 5 of them worked together to completely block Ling Xiao's attack. No one wanted to die. They didn't want to die. Now that the supreme ruler of the empire had died in battle, it was time for them to play a role. They might be the ones to lead the empire in the future. How could they choose to die? Rumble, rumble, rumble. 5 consecutive booms rang out. Sky Wolf, Silver Fox, White Tiger, Crocodile God, and the huge sword all shattered. They didn't have the ability to resist that demonic hand at all. In fact, the demonic hand hadn't even touched them. Just the terrifying demonic chi released by the demonic hand was enough to completely crush them. No. Sky Wolf Divine Fist, work for me. Crocodile God's Claw, Silver Fox's Fury, White Tiger's Thunder, Heaven Breaking Sword. The 5 of them were still struggling. They didn't want to die. No one was willing to die, even if they were stubbornly resisting. They wanted to use their own attacks to exchange for an opportunity to survive. However, it was useless. Nothing was useful. The terrifying demonic hand still slapped down. What they did was like a mosquito fighting against a fly swatter. There was number 100 million to speak of. Instead, it would only accelerate their deaths. At that moment, the 5 pairs of eyes were filled with despair and fear. They were all heroes of the empire, people who stood at the top of the empire. How could they die? Moreover, he had died at the hands of such a brat. However, no matter how unwilling they were or how much they couldn't accept it, the demonic hand still slammed down. The martial artists who were secretly watching from afar were horrified to see the 5 corpses explode under the demonic hand. Then the 5 corpses were corroded and swallowed by the demonic chi. In the end, not even a corpse was left behind. Tragic beyond compare. Coup. Perhaps because the commotion was too great, it attracted the attention of all the cultivators within a radius of several hundred miles. These people originally wanted to get closer to watch the show. However, when they saw Ling Xiao easily kill the sect master of the Heavenly Wolf sect and the representatives of the 4 great forces, they couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. The shock in his heart was evident. One had to know that this Sky Wolf sect master was the representative of the White Tiger continent's pinnacle martial artists. The strength of the other 4 representatives was not weak either. The 5 of them working together were actually unable to stop Ling Xiao's terrifying massacre. This was truly too shocking. Go. Taking advantage of the time when Ling Xiao killed the sect master of the Heavenly Wolf sect and the others, the new energy had just dissipated and the old energy had yet to be generated. The leader of the mysterious snake devil sect's experts made his move. The leader of the Linglong palaces, Linglong envoy, hesitated for a moment before making his move at the same time. This was because even though they might become enemies in the future, their goal today was the same. That was to kill Ling Xiao. If Ling Xiao didn't die, they would probably all die here. One could imagine the power of two great third-level rebirth realm experts making their move at the same time. The leader of the mysterious snake devil sex experts roared, and the hiss of a black snake resounded. Then a huge snake head pounced towards Ling Xiao, wanting to penetrate Ling Xiao's body. The leader of the Linglong Palace's Linglong envoy used a strange colored ribbon. It was like a swimming dragon as it instantly bound Ling Xiao. Kill him! The moment Ling Xiao was bound, the leader of the Linglong envoys shouted loudly. The leader of the mysterious snake devil sect didn't waste any time. He stuck out his huge black tongue and fiercely landed on Ling Xiao's body. He opened his mouth and bit down, directly tearing off a piece of flesh. However, there was no blood. What flowed out was actually boiling lava. Ling Xiao didn't let out a cry of pain. As if nothing had happened, he opened his huge demonic mouth and bit off the huge black snake's head. Bah! Spitting out the huge snake's flesh, Ling Xiao revealed a crazy and sinister smile. He waved his left hand, and a terrifying demonic aura surged into the sky, tearing apart the leader of the Linglong envoy's ribbon. Kill! 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 The word kill was constantly coming out of Ling Xiao's mouth. There was only killing intent in his eyes. Only killing intent was being emitted from his body. This guy is completely crazy. He's actually willing to hand himself over to the Night Devil King. Crazy! He's really a lunatic. The leader of the Linglong envoys and the leader of the mysterious snake devil sect didn't expect that Ling Xiao would go to this extent for revenge. It should be known that many warriors would rather die than have their bodies taken over by another soul. However, Ling Xiao actually voluntarily handed over his body and let the Night Devil King completely take over his body. That was why he could erupt with such terrifying combat strength. Just how terrifying was this obsession for revenge? Kill! As the battle cry rang out again, Ling Xiao's huge demonic hand grabbed over again. He actually wanted to kill the leader of the Linglong envoys and the leader of the mysterious snake devil sect at the same time. Scram! The two of them roared at almost the same time and then attacked at the same time. A terrifying Yamada no Orochi appeared behind one of them. It spat out its huge tongue and bit towards Ling Xiao. Ribbons fluttered behind the other person. The dense ribbons shot towards Ling Xiao like chains, wanting to completely imprison Ling Xiao. They failed the first time, but they didn't want to fail the second time. However, the terrifying demonic hand contained a terrifying demonic aura. At the same time, it also contained the royal heaven-earth power in Ling Xiao's body. At this moment, he was basically invincible as he stood there. The demonic hand easily dispersed the two's attacks and continued to grab towards them. The two of them were terrified. They felt as if a human's huge hand was grabbing a young bird. They both wanted to escape. However, several black shadows suddenly pierced out from the void and tightly entangled the two of them. It was Ling Xiao's ultimate skill of the shadow esoteric shadow child. It was also a dark attribute skill. It could be used through the Night Devil King's body. Quick, let's work together to break this shadow, the leader of the Linglong envoys shouted. Actually, there was no need for him to shout. The leader of the mysterious snake devil sect also understood. The two of them worked together and attacked the shadow. In the end, they were martial artists at the third level of the rebirth realm. They finally broke the shadow. Chapter 2078. The leader of the Black Snake Demon Sect and the leader of the Exquisite Envoys made the same choice. They used the warriors beside them as shields. Crack! Two sounds rang out at the same time. A Exquisite Envoy and a Rebirth Realm Warrior of the Black Snake Demon Sect were crushed to death. The leader of the Black Snake Demon Sect and the leader of the Exquisite Envoys also let out shrill screams. Although they did not die, they did not completely escape Ling Xiao's attack. Both of their legs were crushed. Only Rebirth Realm Warriors could still float in the air. If it were an ordinary person, they would have died from the pain. No, the two of them let out painful cries like pigs being slaughtered. They had volunteered to come to the White Tiger continent to carry out a mission. They thought that this mission would be very safe and that there would not be any accidents. Now, however, they were really regretting that their legs had been crippled in such a backward continent. To a rebirth realm martial artist, a broken leg could be replaced with something else. However, this kind of humiliation and pain was something that no one could accept no matter what. However, they did not have time to think about it. Ling Xiao's attack did not stop. After the demonic hand slapped down, a black ball-like object appeared in the middle of the demonic horn. It was filled with a terrifying demonic aura. Then the black ball-like object shot out. A destructive aura instantly filled the air. Die, all of you, die! Rumble. The black ball-like object exploded on the ground. Although the leader of the Black Snake Demon Sect and the leader of the Exquisite Envoys had dodged it, however, they had lost 3 of their subordinates. 2 Exquisite Envoys and 1 Black Snake Demon Sect expert. Up until now, 5 of the 10 Exquisite Envoys had died. 3 of the 5 Black Snake Demon Sect experts had died. 7 of them had died at the hands of Ling Xiao. This loss was really too great. One had to know that this battle was no longer a battle between them and Ling Xiao. It had nothing to do with Ling Xiao's cultivation. This was the Night Devil King using Ling Xiao's body to commit murder. Of course, it was also under the control of Ling Xiao's remnant consciousness. With the Night Devil King's terrifying demonic aura combined with Ling Xiao's consummate skill, how could these people be his match? Under such circumstances, not to mention low-level rebirth realm warriors, even high-level rebirth realm warriors would not be able to suppress him. Everyone thought of a possibility, and that was after this battle. If Ling Xiao was completely controlled by the Night Devil King, then the entire White Tiger continent would become a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood, completely falling into an apocalyptic realm. Retreat! Retreat by all means! The leader of the Mystic Snake Sect and the leader of the Exquisite Envoy looked at each other. They both knew that it was impossible for them to kill Ling Xiao now. They could only escape. If they could not escape, they all would die. The Black Snake Sect's leader grabbed tyrannical Heavenly Ocean. The Exquisite, and Sex shouted His Highness. These 2 people were the future hope of their 2 sections. They could not allow these 2 people to die here. Everyone else, stop that guy even if you have to die. They gave a death order. However, it made the Exquisite Envoys and the remaining Black Snake Demon Sect experts' heart turn to ashes. They thought it was a sightseeing mission, but in the end it became a suicide mission. This was simply too hard to accept. However, this was not the time for them to consider. The orders of their superiors were iron rules. Otherwise, even if they were not killed by Ling Xiao today, they would be executed when they returned. This was the reality. Being a big force was good, but the rules of a big force were also very strict. They would not tolerate people who disobeyed orders. Their only hope now was that Ling Xiao could not withstand the Night Devil King's power and killed himself. That would be perfect. However, hope was not reality. Ling Xiao did not die. He was still attacking. Terrifying magma spewed out from the huge mouth again, turning the world into a sea of fire. Kill! The magma exploded like a volcanic eruption. This attack was even stronger than the previous one. It was as if a river of magma had appeared between heaven and earth. Ling Xiao gave chase. He wanted to kill them all. How could he let them escape? Hurry up and join forces. Otherwise, we're all going to die. The remaining 4 Exquisite Envoys and 1 expert from the Mystic Snake Devil Sect all thought of joining forces to attack. In that instant, 5 terrifying streams of energy exploded out. 1 was a black devil snake, while the other 4 were 4 slender swords of energy. Rumble! It was useless. The terrifying blackish-violet magma swallowed everything in its path. The sword energy and the devil snake had no way to survive and were wiped out one by one. "Stop him!" It was an almost hysterical roar. 5 Rebirth Realm experts were actually going all out to stop a single life-sizer. They unleashed all the power they could muster, and finally managed to disperse some of the magma. However, all they could do was scatter it. The magma exploded, and one of the exquisite envoys didn't have time to flee. He was instantly reduced to ash, and not even his bones remained. 5 people, one less. However, the leader of the mystic snake demon sect and the leader of the Linglong Palace's Linglong envoys did not manage to escape because Ling Xiao's demonized earth shield blocked their path. They attacked with all their might, hoping that they could escape before they were all killed. If they couldn't escape, then they would really have to leave all of them here. Devil will bloomed in Ling Xiao's eyes. However, there was still a sliver of clarity in them. It was the last bit of consciousness he had left, and he wanted to accomplish his goal. Although the Night Devil King wanted to devour that last bit of consciousness, as long as Ling Xiao didn't let him, he couldn't. However, the Night Devil King had thought things through. He had already occupied almost the entirety of Ling Xiao's soul realm, leaving only a tiny bit of consciousness. What could Ling Xiao do? Sooner or later, he would be devoured. He might as well help him accomplish his goal. If he was happy, then it would be easier for him to devour him. Ling Xiao left the 4 Rebirth Realm experts behind and directly charged at Heavenly Ocean Tyranny and His Highness. Compared to the others, he subconsciously felt that these 2 were the biggest threat. Although the others were strong, they had already reached the peak of martial arts in their lives. It wouldn't be easy for them to grow. However, Heavenly Ocean Tyranny and His Highness had great potential. He wasn't afraid, but his heavenly empire wouldn't allow such people to exist, just like how they couldn't tolerate his existence. With a flash of demonic light, Ling Xiao charged at the 2. "Stop him!" The leader of the exquisite envoys roared furiously. At this moment, one of the exquisite envoys threw himself at Ling Xiao, and then chose to self-destruct. A terrifying explosion sounded out from the tall body. One of the Night Devil King's arms was blasted to the ground, as expected of a Rebirth Realm expert's self-destruction. The power was too fierce. It was this moment of obstruction that finally created an opportunity for the Black Snake Demon Sect expert and the exquisite envoys. Chapter 2079. In the end, the mysterious Snake Demon Sect and Exquisite Palace's exquisite envoy left with Heavenly Ocean Tyranny and His Highness. Ling Xiao glanced at them coldly and immediately chased after them. The right arm that had been blown off actually grew back. Demons were demons, after all. This self-healing ability was just too terrifying. The remaining 3 Rebirth Realm martial artists still tried to stop Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao turned around and 2 huge demon hands pressed down, crushing 2 of them to death. The other died even more miserably, directly bitten to death by the Night Devil King's bloody mouth. After killing these 3 people, Ling Xiao removed the enchanted earth shield and began the chase. Several hundred li away, Wine Demon's sword frowned. "We can't let Ling Xiao chase to Black Tortoise Continent alone. Someone has to follow." I'll go. Cold Plum and Long Chin said in unison. "This matter has to be done by the person closest to Ling Xiao. It's best if we can make him give up on completely turning into a demon. I'll take Cold Plum with me." Wine Demon Sword thought for a bit. No matter how many people go, it won't help. It's better to follow Ling Xiao's arrangements and complete his plan. But this trip will definitely be very dangerous. Ling Xiao has almost completely turned into a demon. From his killing methods, it's clear that the 2 of you might die. 9 Heavenly Dreams said, "Master won't kill me. I believe in him." Cold Plum shook her head. If a mere demon can defeat him, he wouldn't be Ling Xiao. Among these people, only Cold Plum had been by Ling Xiao's side for the longest time. She also understood Ling Xiao's temper the best. Although he chose to turn into a demon, he would definitely leave a chance for survival. He wouldn't rashly turn into a demon and leave himself no way out. Because of this, she was sure that even if Ling Xiao turned into a demon, he would still recognize her. I think so too. The demon whined, sword laughed, and said, "Didn't you notice? Although Ling Xiao's attack was terrifying, he didn't go crazy. His target has always been those enemies, and he didn't turn to attack others. This means that Ling Xiao should still have some consciousness. I'm just afraid that this bit of consciousness will soon disappear." Zhu Tianmeng asked worriedly, "The more this is the case, the more we should help him. At this time, if we don't help him, he will really go crazy." The liquor demon sword explained, "All right, I believe you, but you must be careful. Don't make unnecessary sacrifices. Otherwise, if Ling Xiao wakes up one day and finds out that he killed the people closest to him, it will be very painful." Nine Heavens Dreams said, "Don't worry, Cold Plum. Come with me. As for the others, act according to the plan and turn the White Tiger continent upside down." The liquor demon sword cupped his hands and then grabbed Cold Plum and flew in the direction of Ling Xiao, just as they were worried. While Ling Xiao was chasing after Heavenly Ocean Tyranny and His Highness, the Night Devil King actually tried to swallow up the last bit of his consciousness. At this time, Ling Xiao really fell into a very dangerous situation. He had no choice but to stop and think of a way to resist the Night Devil King's demonic intent. On this day, he chased to Sky Sea City. Sky Sea City had been completely flattened by the army led by Qin Zhan and Scorpion Li. It was a chess piece of the Heavenly Empire. The army was stationed in Sky Sea City, but they didn't do anything to the ordinary people. Of course, if some people didn't know how to appreciate favors and insisted on doing something insensible, they wouldn't be lenient. Kill them. There are so many people. Don't you want to kill them? Don't resist. Don't go against your will. Kill them and destroy the city. When they arrived at Sky Sea City, the Night Devil King began to bewitch Ling Xiao. He wanted Ling Xiao to kill more. This way, the demonic energy would become stronger, and it would be easier for him to swallow up the last bit of Ling Xiao's consciousness. Ling Xiao's eyes turned pitch black, like the eyes of a devil, but in the blink of an eye, they turned silver again. This was his consciousness fighting against the Night Devil King's demonic intent. "Brat, you asked me to help you kill those guys. I've already killed them. Are you still not going to offer up your body?" The Night Devil King asked angrily. "Shut up. Heavenly Ocean Tyranny and His Highness haven't been killed yet. If you had followed my plan, I would have offered up my body, but you actually delayed me for so long on the way. Now you're trying to make me kill my own soldiers. Do you think I'll submit?" Ling Xiao roared. "Not submit? Do you think this king needs your consent?" The Night Devil King roared and increased the output of his demonic intent. At that moment, Ling Xiao's silver pupils turned pitch black again, which was terrifying to the extreme. His huge demonic hand was about to slap the troops stationed on the ground. Those were the troops brought by Scorpion Li from the Heavenly Dynasty continent. They were the troops built by his senior brother Wu Xiang. They were the troops that conquered the world for him. "Ling Xiao, stop!" At this moment, a roar rang out. It was the Liquor Demon Sword and Cold Plum who had arrived. Only when they got closer to Ling Xiao did they realize how terrifying Ling Xiao was. Was this still the young man full of courage and dreams that they knew? This was simply a devil that crawled out of a mountain of corpses and a sea of bones. Ling Xiao's whole body was constantly releasing a terrifying black demonic energy, as if he had been soaked in a demon's den. His eyes were filled with cruel killing intent and merciless indifference. Ling Xiao looked at the Liquor Demon Sword and was stunned for a moment. Then he turned around and charged over. Oh no, His Majesty actually sacrificed himself to become a devil in order to deal with those enemies. He wants to kill the Liquor Demon Sword and Cold Plum. What should we do? On the ground, Scorpion Li had already seen the changes in the sky. At this moment, she felt both heartache and helplessness. She wanted to stop Ling Xiao, but she couldn't do it because she didn't have the strength. She wanted to awaken Ling Zhao's consciousness, but her voice couldn't reach the sky. The liquor demon's sword, who bore the brunt of the attack, frowned and unsheathed his black, demonic sword. He absolutely couldn't let Ling Xiao kill him. Otherwise, not only would he be in pain, but also Ling Xiao. However, the terrifying thing was that his demonic sword was usually not afraid of anyone. Today, when it saw Ling Xiao, it actually shrank back. "Senior liquor demon's sword, put away your sword." Cold Plum said to the liquor demon sword beside her, "Listen to me. I believe that Master is rational. If you release your killing intent on him, it may have the opposite effect." The liquor demon sword hesitated for a moment, but in the end he chose to believe in Ling Xiao. He restrained his killing intent and put away his demonic sword. However, he didn't leave. He and Cold Plum calmly faced Ling Xiao's soaring demonic intent. That demonic intent seemed to want to swallow the two of them on the spot. "Ling Xiao, you are a piece of trash. You can't even resist a mere demonic intent. I was really blind to believe that you could help me save your sister." Chapter 2080. The wine demon's sword stands under the shroud of the devil intent and is not afraid at all. He has no intention of retreating. He says this to provoke him. Ling Xiao is not willing to yield to anything. Even if he is wholeheartedly obsessed, he is still subconsciously unwilling to yield like this. Therefore, the wine demon's sword's words actually make one of his eyes turn silver again. Yes, just like that. "Ling Xiao, you can do it. So what if you are a devil? You are the successor chosen by the human king. You are the celestial emperor of the celestial empire. You are the king of this land. Could it be that you are afraid of a foreign devil?" Seeing that his words have an effect, the wine demon's sword continues to speak. At this moment, Ling Xiao looks a little confused. He hugs his head and roars nonstop. Clearly, he is resisting the Night Devil King's devil intent. Below, the countless soldiers of the Celestial Empire are watching their Celestial Emperor. They are nervous to the extreme. They have finally conquered the Dragon Phoenix continent and entered the White Tiger continent. They do not wish for their Celestial Emperor to go crazy like this. "Master, I believe you can do it. Have you forgotten the promise you made to Cold Plum? Have you forgotten that Her Highness Moon Maiden was beaten back to her original form because of you?" Cold Plum's voice also rings out. At this moment, all attacks are useless. Only by evoking the tenderness in Ling Zhao's heart, that unswerving determination, can he defeat that terrifying devil intent. Celestial Emperor. Below, roars shake the sky. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers roar at Ling Xiao with soaring fighting spirit. This fighting spirit condenses together and blasts at the rampant devil intent on Ling Xiao's body. In that instant, the devil intent is scattered. In addition, Ling Xiao retains a trace of consciousness and has not been swallowed. Therefore, after a moment, his eyes regain their silver color. Even the Night Devil King's body also quickly disappears. Replacing it is Ling Zhao's heavenly devil incarnation. "Senior Wine Demon Sword, I will leave the rest to you. You and Cold Plum don't chase after me either. I'm going to the Myriad Thunder Extreme Ground to purge the devil intent from my body." Although Ling Xiao had temporarily regained consciousness, he couldn't guarantee that he would be able to continue like this in the next moment. He could feel that the demonic will was still pouncing on him, wanting to completely engulf him. At this moment, only the divine lightning of the peerless lightning extreme sight could dispel the demonic will that soared into the sky from his body. That was the place where the human king had dealt with the traitorous immortals and evil demons. It could definitely be used to deal with the Night Devil King. After saying this, Ling Xiao did not stay any longer, because he had to hurry to the extreme thunder place before the Night Devil King completely devoured his consciousness, or else it would be too late. As for Heavenly Ocean Tyranny and His Highness, he would deal with them sooner or later. Right now, dealing with his own problems was the most important thing. Watching Ling Zhao's figure break through the sky and leave, Cold Plum looked at the Wine Demon Sword and said, Senior, I will go to the extreme thunder extreme ground to accompany Master. I don't care about anything else. Senior, you should follow Master's plan. But you could lose your life at any time. That was extremely dangerous, just now. You also saw that once he completely enters the demonic path, he won't recognize anyone. The wine demon, Sword reminded. Don't worry, Senior. I know what to do. After saying this, Cold Plum had already chased after him. Although her speed was not as fast as Ling Zhao's, she knew the direction to the extreme thunder extreme ground. This was enough. The wine demon, Sword, watched Cold Plum leave and gritted his teeth. He heard Ling Xiao mention before that Ling Xiao seemed to have cultivated a martial art that could borrow the power of the heavenly Earth Queen. This martial art could be said to be invincible as long as he was in his own territory. If he wanted to save Ling Xiao, there was actually another way, which was to unify the White Tiger continent as soon as possible and turn it into the territory of the Celestial Empire. Thinking of this, his eyes became resolute. He had always believed in Ling Xiao, and now was no exception. Cieli, let's begin. After the war with the Tianhai Empire ends, immediately head to the Yulang Empire. We have to unify the White Tiger continent in the shortest time possible. The wine demon's Sword looked at Xia Li below and said, Understood. Currently, the enemies in the rebirth state on the White Tiger continent were basically annihilated. It could be said that the Celestial Empire had the absolute advantage. With the wine demon's Sword, 9 Heavens Dream, and 9 Heavens Dew in the war, they were invincible. It was not difficult to unify the White Tiger continent. On the other side, Cold Plum desperately chased after Ling Xiao. After 3 days, they finally arrived at the extreme thunder extreme ground. She could sense Ling Xiao's aura. She had spent more time with Ling Xiao than the Moon Lady, so she naturally could not sense wrongly. Master, even if you really become a demon, you have to maintain your original heart. Cold Plum really did not care what Ling Xiao was. It did not matter whether he was a demon, a ghost, or a demon. She only cared about Ling Xiao's safety. She also did not care about the people of the world. Even if Ling Xiao became an enemy of the mystic world after becoming a demon, she would still stand on Ling Xiao's side. Her only hope was that Ling Xiao must maintain his original heart and not let his will be devoured by the demonic will. She believed that her master could do it. For so many years, she had never seen any martial artist with a stronger will than her master, Ling Xiao. With such a strong will, he did not give in after experiencing so many dangers. He did not lose his mind even after being threatened by so many experts. How could he admit defeat this time? Cold Plum trusted Ling Xiao from the bottom of her heart, and it was absolute trust. Cold Plum stepped into the myriad thunder extreme ground and followed Ling Xiao's aura. Finally, she found Ling Xiao in the midst of a thunderstorm. This was the most central part of the myriad thunder extreme ground, and also the place with the densest concentration of divine lightning. Thus, it was also called the Land of Lightning. Crazy bolts of lightning bombarded Ling Xiao's body, causing Ling Xiao's flesh to split open and blood to flow. But every time the lightning struck, Ling Xiao would actually smile. Clearly, this lightning was effective against the Night Devil King. This was divine lightning that could intimidate evil spirits. It definitely had a miraculous effect against a fellow like the Night Devil King. Cold Plum quietly stood there and looked at Ling Xiao, seeing Ling Xiao's body constantly being smashed and then healed. She felt as if she had experienced that pain herself. It was like her heart was being cut by a knife. Of course, she didn't alarm Ling Xiao. She knew what Ling Xiao was doing. He was rising from the ashes. Although it was painful, he would be even stronger after his rebirth. This is the territory of the Black Turtle Temple, Yang Qi thought. Although all the rebirth realm experts were killed, there are still quite a few life seizers. I have to be careful. Cold Plum sat down to stand guard over Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao looked over at her and thanked her gratefully. Then he focused all of his attention on fighting the devil will of the Night Devil King. Before, he had no one to stand guard over him, so he had to split some of his awareness to keep an eye on the situation. After all, he knew that this place was not completely safe. But now that Cold Plum was there to stand guard, he could focus on his own business. A few days passed in the blink of an eye. Chapter 2081. My lord, today is the new year. Here's a toast to you. From afar, Lung Mei raised her wine glass and toasted Ling Xiao. After the new year, Ling Xiao would be 18 years old. And yet, this stubborn young man had already created his own legend on the Heavenly Dragon Continent, the God Phoenix Continent, and the White Tiger Continent. Who's there? Cold Plum said, looking off into the distance. Two silhouettes arrived gracefully. Ha ha ha. We just wanted to come to the myriad lightning's desolate ground to cultivate. Who would have thought we'd run into such a big fish? Ling Xiao, it looks like he's in bad shape. One of the two figures was none other than Lin Yuan. His cultivation base was lower than Song Moffing's and Qin Yu's, but because of that he had managed to survive by hiding in the Black Turtle Temple. At first, he had been afraid of Ling Xiao, but after a closer look he realized that Ling Xiao was in a very weak state and therefore wanted to kill him. Screw off! Cold Plum said coldly. Screw off? You dare tell us to screw off? Lin Yuan laughed mockingly. If I remember correctly, you're Ling Xiao's girl, right? Not bad. You actually made it into the top 10 at the White Tiger Summit, but you're just a little girl who's not even in the life-seizing level. Do you really think you can protect him? Cold Plum didn't say anything. From the look of it, these two didn't know the true level of her cultivation base. That was fine. She could take them by surprise and kill them. With that, she blurred into motion, becoming nothing more than a blur. In the blink of an eye, she was right in front of Lin Yuan. Die, she said, stabbing coldly toward Lin Yuan's throat. In that moment, Lin Yuan was completely flabbergasted. How could you? No, impossible. How could your cultivation base be higher than mine? Lin Yuan roared in horror. Unfortunately, it was too late. The sharp blade pierced through his throat. At that moment, he thought of many things. He was actually walking further and further down the path of death, and in the end there was no turning back. When the other martial artist saw Lin Yuan being killed, he cried out in fright and turned to flee. Cold Plum tried to stop him, but it was too late. That guy seemed to have a talisman that could teleport him directly to the Black Tortoise Temple. Oh no! Lung Mei furrowed her brows. Following this place where lightning gathered would most likely become a place of trouble. She turned around and glanced at Ling Xiao. At this time, Ling Xiao was still wholeheartedly fighting against the demonic will. He had no idea what was happening in the outside world. But if Cold Plum called him, he might wake up. However, Cold Plum didn't do that. She didn't want Ling Xiao's efforts to go to waste. I swear to protect Master with my life. Cold Plum's eyes were filled with determination as she stared coldly ahead. A short while later, several dozen Black Warrior Temple's cultivators arrived. Kill! The two sides didn't talk nonsense and directly started fighting. A few days had passed. The White Tiger Continent was filled with smoke and had now returned to peace. The three armies of the Heavenly Empire attacked the Heavenly Sea Empire, Silver Fox Empire, and White Tiger Empire at the same time. After taking down these three empires, apart from the troops left behind, the rest of the army gathered together under the command of Xieli and charged towards the Yuelang Empire. As for Wu Xiang, he had already taken charge of the Heavenly Sea City and started the construction of a new capital. It was difficult to conquer the world, but it wasn't easy to defend the world. The following work was the most troublesome. On Xieli's side, the Yuelang Empire collapsed in just one day. This was because the Heavenly Wolf sect was destroyed overnight. The Yuelang Empire's royal family announced their surrender. The army did not expend a single soldier and settled all the battles. The Jingyi sect also collapsed almost overnight. An unknown rebirth realm expert took over all the Jingyi sect's territory and announced to the world that the Zhengyi sect was an evil sect that couldn't be believed in. Although there were stubborn people who tried to resist, they were fiercely suppressed. Combining strength and gentleness was the way of the king. Blindly merciful or blindly tyrannical couldn't achieve anything. This was also the principle that the Heavenly Empire had always followed. After completely occupying the White Tiger continent, thunder rumbled in the sky, and the power of law was released. The White Tiger continent and the Dragon Phoenix continent finally merged, turning into a complete continent. Wu Xiang announced that the White Tiger continent was renamed the White Tiger region. At this point, the Heavenly Empire had the Heavenly Dragon region, the Divine Phoenix region, and the White Tiger region. The Empire's area expanded further. At the same time, the officials of the original Divine Phoenix city began to move, because the principle set by Ling Xiao was that the Empire's capital must always be at the forefront. The current White Tiger region faced the Black Tortoise continent directly. Choosing here to build the capital was naturally the best. Moreover, the White Tiger region had just been established. Everything was still unstable, not as peaceful as the Heavenly Dragon region and the Divine Phoenix region. It had to be strictly controlled. It was the new year, and many places started to celebrate. However, the White Tiger region wasn't peaceful, and there wasn't the festive atmosphere of the new year. The original White Tiger continent's people were scared witless, very afraid that they would bury their original lives because of the change of the dynasty. And the Heavenly Empire's army was worried sick at heart, not knowing how their Heavenly Emperor was doing. The battle outside Seawatch City, as well as what happened in Heavenly Sea City, simply couldn't be covered up. Now, in the White Tiger region, it had almost spread everywhere. Those who didn't know were shocked to the extreme. Those who knew when talking about it still thought that they were dreaming, that all of it wasn't real at all. Ling Xiao came to the White Tiger continent alone, and in the end killed the Heavenly Sea Sovereign King, the Tiger King, the Queen of Green Mountains, the sect master of the Heavenly Wolf sect, as well as the sect master of the Zhengyi school, Taoist Ime outside Seawatch City. Even the sect master of the Black Tortoise Temple, Xianming. If this wasn't shocking enough, then what was even more shocking was that Ling Xiao had turned into a demon, killing the people of the Black Tortoise Continent's western region's great forces, the mysterious snake demon sect and Linglong Palace, until they fled in a sorry state. Domineering, invincible, awe-inspiring. The only pity was that Ling Xiao was actually possessed by the demonic intent, and his whereabouts were unknown. All the martial artists of the Heavenly Empire were waiting for their Heavenly Emperor to step out of the Jianghu again. Without their Heavenly Emperor, they really didn't know where the future of the Heavenly Empire would be. They didn't know what the future would be like. One must know that since the Heavenly Empire was born in the Heavenly Dragon continent, it had always been their Heavenly Emperor, Ling Xiao, who rushed to the forefront, solving one trouble after another for them. This was why the Heavenly Dragon domain, Divine Phoenix domain, and White Tiger domain existed. Without Ling Xiao, could this empire still be maintained? People didn't know, but they were very worried. After all, Ling Xiao was their spiritual pillar, the symbol and representative of this empire. The Heavenly Dragon domain was now completely under the control of the Ling family, but the people of the Ling family weren't happy at all. They were all looking forward to Ling Xiao's return. The Divine Phoenix domain was now commanded by Jining, assisted by the former Peacock clan and Rock clan. Because these two clans had submitted to Ling Xiao, they had also received Ling Xiao's high regard and trust.